Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear us. How is everybody doing?
Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, ahoy. Hello, Sheriff. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sheriff.
Welcome to Esthara Chronicles, episode 21, guys. We've went past the 20 mark. I'm so proud of you. You've survived.
Good we somehow made it this far.
Indeed. For those of you who don't know, we are Esthara Chronicles. I'm your absolutely cruelest person you'll ever met, Dungeon Mommy. We've got Baax Obsidian, Dragonborn Sorcerer, played by Thanture. We've got Sylfania Markuth, a half-elven ranger, played by
Hello, everybody.
Danny. And we've got Fervor Dickens, a tiefling monk, played by Gabe. And that was a beautiful, that was like a multi-tier burp. One of these days, I'm going to sit down and make a burp compilation, but that's not going to be
like, that was like 3 in 1 or something.
I know.
You're welcome.
You might be surprised that we're not doing it in our usual time slot, but we're going to be a little bit more flexible with the dates. I'm going to try to tell people in advance, as far as I can know, when the next session will be, but hey, unpredictability, that's the modus operandi of this group. So, I think it fits.
Hi, Joe Kids.
It fit. Oh, jeez. Okay, fine. Oh, God, this is going to be a joke, innit? Hi, Joe Kids. So, okay. Quick recap of the last few sessions of what happened. The gang of adventurers have found out a plot of 3 hags in the city of Laudenborough. They've dispatched with 2 of them, and the last one apparently was a matron of an orphanage. So, the gang goes to the orphanage to confront the hag, but are, well, honey-trapped into a, not ideal situation where, you know, the guards show up and the only people injured are some of the children and the director.
I hate it when I get honey-potted like this.
Yeah.
I think you mean collateral damage.
Sure.
Just a little bit of collateral.
But
some of those kids kind of deserved it.
Basically, the police...
One guy who looked at you funny.
The guards have questions. And you guys have been detained. To be fair, you did not resist arrest. And honestly, just kind of forgotten in the cells until a certain ghost from the past of Sylfania's past.
Really resist arrest. I'm pretty sure I remember Fervor resisting pretty hard for a little while.
I very much resisted.
Yeah, we will see what happens afterwards. This might come up. But the idea is you guys have been sort of sitting on your own, not knowing what's happening, until a certain lawyer comes from the capital and decides to take your case on. A lawyer that Sylfania knows quite well. Yeah.
It's a baby boy.
Sylfania's prodigal son, as they say. In any case, you guys, after having one-on-one interviews with Alanan Markuth, whose name Sylfania briefly forgot, but it's okay. She remembers him now.
Do I remember?
Do you remember? But yes,
Why
you.
would you remember?
Yes.
But I remember my own son's name. I didn't have it written down. That's all it was.
Yeah.
I had it written down as something else. I don't know.
Anyway, you've all had individual interviews with him, and you're taken back to your holding cells until the day of the trial. At the moment, it is the Harvest Festival, so, everybody's kind of busy doing that. You guys seem to be missing all the festivals I've designed. Oh well. But yes, because of that, the trial is going to be done quite rapidly. They're not really giving you that much time to prepare, but also, it's both a double-edged sword, because it's good for you guys. The person in question that is, accusing you of attacking the orphanage with attempted manslaughter, or whatever charges you're going to be given at today's trial, is not going to leave the country or leave the city. They're still here, and they have to be present. So this is all done very quickly. And the evidence is still, hot, as they say. So, but also, it doesn't give you or your lawyer much time to prepare, which is, double-edged sword. In any case, we've ended the last episode on Sylfania coming back from her interview, and two members of the party, namely Baax and Fervrand, acting very, very strange, very out of character for them, just out of nowhere. Honestly, very suspicious. For everybody involved, this was just random
Almost
confusion.
like they were being controlled by somebody.
I know. This is extremely suspicious. And as quickly as it came upon them, it's as quickly disappeared. And now we're sort of come back to this holding cell with the three of you, the Falinels, namely Belloir and Trarel, and Luba, I believe. And the six of you are just sitting there at the moment. But Sylfania, you just walked in on Baax being held down by a bunch of people, and after a quick kerfuffle,
I bet he likes getting held down. I mean, what?
With Fervrand, what do you do?
Well, it was not like this when I left. That's all I'm thinking. I'm concerned.
The guards have... Oh, sorry.
Just a little concerned.
The guards have let you go at this point because you have, came to your senses back. So they step away. They confiscated all your weapons. They lock the doors, and it is late in the evening, and the trial is going to be tomorrow around noon or afternoon time. So the guards... There's 2 guards stationed, 2 privates that have been watching you over the last 2 days. They're being a bit wary of you, but they're not interfering with whatever it is you plan to do for the rest of the evening.
Never again. What I know where you guys were like... You guys were just like shaking hands or something after you were done beating the shit out of each other or something.
Yeah, I went over to him to apologize for the actions and just went like, are we still cool, essentially?
Were you actually mad at me?
Was that punch just, a little bit for fun, or was that actually a thing? I just need to...
What can I say? I love collateral damage.
Yeah, I saw.
Yo, Derek, what's up? Just a prank, bro. Yeah, just a prank, bro.
No, for the most case, I think we'll just be calm and wait, I guess.
I really, everything is kind of weird. We're not really, we're kind of, uncertain what to say to each other, I think, at this point.
Just talking in general, out loud about anything we've done without our lawyers, being there is not wise because, that guard is not our friend.
On that note, it's nearing the end of the day. Sylfania, suddenly, out of nowhere, that feeling of certainty, that 100% that you were mistaken in that house, that the woman that you guys came to, confront is not the hag and you guys are the baddies, the feeling disappears. Suddenly, you realize that what just happened? How could you be so confident? All of the
Just
evidence.
all this guilt I was feeling earlier suddenly kind of is going away a little bit.
Yeah, no, there is still guilt because you did injure a child, and there's still a little bit, but there is this, I would say, pretty confident feeling that you weren't yourself for the last 24 hours, and you don't know why. And to be fair, it was so subtle that you don't know when it started. Actually, if you want to find out, you'd need to do a roll for this, because it was so seamless. But now that the effect's worn off, you immediately, suddenly realize after the conversation with your lawyer, wait, hold
Some
up.
of these things I said were not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
When did I say this? How did I know that?
Yeah, if you want to make a roll to try to figure out
Yeah, fuck it. I'll
when
make a
exactly it has happened, I will let you make a wisdom saving throw.
roll. A wisdom save? Okay.
Not with advantage. You usually do those with advantage, but
I don't
not
really
this time.
need to. I have a really good wisdom save.
Go ahead, give me a roll.
You say you have a very good save.
Oh,
and you roll like
10.
a 1.
Sad.
That's
God
a
damn
10.
it.
About it. It's like, he's too overconfident.
That is a 10. Unfortunately, as I said before, you do not know at which point of you interacting with the obvious demon woman in the mansion, everybody you've interacted with inside the orphanage, you don't know when it happened. You can't really pinpoint. You know it happened sometime within that time period, and it ended right now. But you don't know more than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you stupid.
I'm sorry, a 10 ain't gonna cut it.
Listen, 10 isn't always the worst.
It's
Not
just
the best, though.
Yeah, you haven't failed, but you haven't, this is quite difficult. This is obviously done not by some amateur who just charmed personed you. This is done by somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows how to mask the fact that you've been charmed.
They know
So-
how to play with your balls.
Really, I'm just I'm still confused about what just happened. Because all of these things are still not adding up in my head anymore now, like they used to.
Mhm.
But I'm still confused as to what happened.
What are the rest of you guys doing? Baax, Ferbrand? You sort of you see Trial and Beloir. They're settling down for the evening. They don't really sleep because they're full-blood elves, but they're sort of in their meditative trance kind of position. Luba is curled up on the bench, still not talking to anyone, and is trying to fall asleep. What are the three of you guys doing?
You know how
Waiting to get executed.
You know how Belawar is trying to have a trance right now? I'm just gonna stare at him the entire fucking time.
Oh my god, are you just going to be a weirdo to him the entire
Question.
time?
Question. Sorry, it's bonfire night. There's fireworks. If you hear it, it's not gunshots. although I live in London, I live in North London, I would not be surprised by gunshots. But anyway, Jesus Christ. I can see from here
barely
anyway.
hear
Yeah, no, I can hear them really loud. That's why they're setting me
Sorry,
off. But
that's just me popping off. Heyo.
a very important question for Brand. How are you looking at him? Are you looking at him to intimidate, or are you looking at him in a
He's
flirty
just
way?
staring at him, if I
I'm being
remember
a
right.
general menace. I'm kind of just
Okay, give me an intimidation check. Please.
intimidation check.
Versus his, I guess, wisdom.
Oh, not one.
Let's see what he gets. I mean, doesn't matter. I just want to check.
You actually end up breaking your look into him, and you actually just smirk for a second.
I do a crocodile blink.
Right.
You do a weird crocodile blink, and then he opens his eyes and goes, "My dear boy, I know I'm handsome, but you might want to get some shut-eye for the trial tomorrow." And he flicks his hair and lies down in a more suggestive way. Oh, sorry, it backfired, my guy.
It's fine. I let him enjoy it.
Indeed. Baax, what are you up to?
For the most part, I'll just be kind of the same as before, just relaxing and just being well,
You gonna go to bed?
I'll just be thinking of ways of like defending myself, essentially, just like calming myself.
Okay. For the purposes of certain mechanics, I'm just quickly asking questions. Who is going to sleep for the night, and who isn't? Because I think Sildana, as a half-elf, you sleep, right? You don't trance.
I mean, yeah, I like the idea that like I don't really like the whole like trance thing. I think it's better most of the time just like you just say everybody
Makes perfect sense. I mean, in the context of my homebrew world, the full-blooded elves, there's a certain shenanigans going on with their soul, so it makes sense that they don't really sleep. They go into a trance. However, with half-elves, I'd say there's enough of human in you to actually go to sleep. So, out of the people in this prison cell, Luba is asleep. Sildana, are you going to sleep, or are you going to
sleep? Yeah.
Okay, and Baax, I remember you said you didn't sleep the night before, so you do have a point of exhaustion.
No. I slept throughout the day, which
Okay.
you said removed that exhaustion, and then I'm just gonna sleep again now.
Okay,
because
lovely.
I don't want to worsen my odds.
Lovely. That's amazing. I'm gonna make a few rolls here, and then we're gonna talk, but I just need a second to check something.
You don't sleep, I guess, February.
Who needs sleep?
Nope. My guy
I don't
here
sleep.
does not sleep. None of you have questioned it,
The week, huh?
but he doesn't sleep.
I mean, we haven't really had time to really question it. Let's be honest here.
No, because most of the time you would fall asleep first, and Fervorand would just, be Fervorand.
I would just be there, just stroke your
I would
hair
say
and
like
draw on your
as long
face.
as he's like not really doing anything, then he still gets like a full rest.
Amazing. I'm
That'd
just quickly going to grab a thing from this ma'am here.
He's always resting.
I'm resting right now as we speak.
Okay, Sildana, give me a wisdom saving throw with advantage, please.
Oh, bye!
Also,
Let's
Fervorand,
go!
what is your passive perception?
My passive perception, 15.
Oh, there we go. I was
15.
almost nat one on one of those. Oh my god.
Okay.
23.
Okay, I'll get back to you, Fervorand. Baax, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Scared.
Nat one.
Not one. Not what?
Damn it.
22.
Oh, it was so close to the 3. It
Okay.
like bounced back.
Fervorand, give me an Arcana check.
Arcana?
Yup.
Man. 15.
15. With both your perception and Arcana, you are, even though people are in trance, you are the only one who is awake, like fully. And you're watching everybody sleeping in this room. And with those checks, what you notice is at first, you notice Luba slightly like shift in her sleep, her brows furrow, and then she like relaxes and just turns to the other side, which you find okay. You find okay, people move in their sleep. Then you notice Sildana shift a little bit and then sort of do the same thing, like start frowning as if being uncomfortable, and then just shuffle over and be fine. And then you notice Baax do the same thing, which like in succession.
Slap all of them.
Oh shit. Okay. You are you putting like your unarmed strike, or are you just slapping them awake?
How much does this trigger my
slapping them away.
PTSD? How much does this trigger my PTSD?
Give me a wisdom saving throw, another one, just for this one, not with advantage, just regular standard, please.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
I just want to know, like, would I wake up, like, freaking the fuck out or something?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull like mom
18.
from Futurama
18.
and screw, like,
You're
a
fine.
triple slap.
Fine. Okay, cool.
As I said before, seeing your son in flesh as an adult really, like, grounded you, because this image of a childlike son of yours, you cannot imagine it now. He's now the adult version. And so a lot of your triggers with children for PTSD, they're not healed completely, but it's just, you feel more grounded. And so when you get woken up with a slap, you're startled at first, but the moment you see Fervorand, the cell, you know where you are.
Barbara, do you sleep at all? Also, what the hell?
stopped having synchronized nightmares.
What?
You heard me.
You guys have had regular dreams. However, I need you to do something for me. Baax.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from... So, Sylfania, you had a normal dream. You actually remembered
Oh yeah.
drinking with your mates before a mission, way before that fight in Night Favisia. It was a kind of pleasant return to your youth. It was when, Alanan was still kind of liked you and missed you when you came home. It was like a happy time. And so when you were woken up from it, you were kind of pissed off, but now, so you're confused as to what nightmare. Luba looks up at you for a round and goes like, I did not have a nightmare. I don't know what you mean. Baax.
Listen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Listen, if you're all twitching in sequence in the exact same way, it's a synchronized nightmare. I don't care what you think.
Cool. Baax, you... how do I put this? You
got a
have
little chill
started
from that.
to have a normal dream, which in your case, a lot of times it's the conversations with the Whispered One. However, today was a bit of like, again, just shadows. You didn't know what was going on. It wasn't really nightmarish, but it wasn't like a solidified dream. When Ferveran slaps you awake.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Well, first of all, hide your semi-chub. Second of all, stop having synchronized nightmares.
I just look up and I'm like, oh.
Oh man, sips up pants.
I'm literally like waiting for you to like, you're just like, what the fuck?
Honestly, if that's all, like, I'll literally just go like, oh my fucking god.
You're literally just gonna go back to sleep after he just says that to you?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay.
Most for all, I'm like, I just got woken up. Fuck no. I want to go back to sleep. I decided
Stop being
to
such a little bitch.
I decided to be
please.
You're gonna fucking listen to me, boy.
What do you mean Fine. What do you mean synchronized sleep, nightmare, whatever?
Well, you see, first Luba had a twitch, and then Sylfania had the exact same twitch, and then you had the exact same twitch.
Okay, so what does that prove?
Normal people don't twitch in the exact same way in a sequence.
I've ever read anything
what?
about this kind of magic that would affect sleep in such a manner, Natalie.
I don't...
Well,
how would you
in
even know
your
if that was even
defense,
magical or anything affecting us?
In your defense, Baax, you are a student.
Yeah, but I'm asking Natalie if I can roll for if I can remember any magic that does that.
I'm just
I thought
waiting
you were
until
stating-
the conversation ends, and then I'll tell you. If you would like... Okay, pertaining that you are aware with the kind of creatures you've been dealing with, Trowel did get a book on hags, not on the devils, but you are a student, so do give me, I would like to say, an Arcana check with advantage.
Wow!
Ow.
Oh, glad that was a advantage. 18.
18. So you are aware that while asleep, human minds are, or mortal creatures' minds are more susceptible to any sort of, interference. And this sort of one by one movement could happen if something was affecting, some sort of a magical effect was affecting all three of you. And you've vaguely in your dream with that arcana recall the feeling of something trying to pry into your head, but you managed to shake it off.
Shake it off.
Similar
Shake
to
it
how you didn't manage to shake it off in the mansion when you got mind controlled by that succubus. But then when you got hit and you saved, you shook it off. So you, with that 18 arcana, from your experience, what you can kind of piece together, the three of you who were asleep, there were attempts to charm you once again. However, you have, as you're looking at your friends who seem very confused. With this Arcana check, you're pretty certain... I mean, you don't know. You're not mind-controlled. You're sure of that.
Are you sure?
All right.
Well, I will double check. Slap everyone again.
In which case, I actually, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna like say that to if ever and like
yourself beforehand.
yeah, I tell you first and foremost. Like, it could be this. I mean, I had like the same kind of situation with the mind when I essentially explained what you said to Farron. I go, before the court this happens. Slap me, slap everybody, and make it hard.
Make sure you take away at least 1 HP of damage.
You guys are gonna go to sleep now anyway for 8 hours, so you can beat each other up if you want.
Yeah.
I basically say, you hurt him, and I'm back. I fucking all out.
You hurt him, warps motherfucking arm.
Listen, 1 HP, okay?
Okay. So are you doing like you're doing your unarmed strike, right?
Yes.
Okay, give me an attack
Your unarmed
roll.
strike is the hardest thing, though.
Give me an attack roll against Baax first. Let's see what happens here.
I mean, do it at advantage because I'm fully letting it.
Okay.
Okay, sure. I'll roll again.
Couldn't I do it since I have like the weakest strike?
No, Danny.
Does
This
a
has
four,
been decided.
We
Does a
have to let the guy with the strongest strike do
does
it.
a 14 hit you, Baax?
Yeah.
Okay. How much damage do you do to Baax?
I do this much damage. 6.
Are you sure you don't want the person with the weakest hands to do this?
My lad, you take 6 damage, my bro.
Hang on. I'm not done.
Oh god.
Flurry of blows.
Wait, hold on.
You know what? Fine. Do it,
Oh, jeez.
motherfucker. Do it.
Okay.
I gotta make sure.
Do it, motherfucker.
Do it, motherfucker.
Oh, hang on. That's pretty advantage.
That hits.
Going.
Are you just hitting Baax or are you hitting Sylfania this time?
Only guy.
How much damage do you do to him? Jesus Christ.
16 more damage.
Are you still up, Baax? Are you unconscious?
I have
He's
4
dead.
health.
You're at 4 health? Oh no! That's why I said you want the person with the weakest hands to do this.
At this point, the Garda like come up to the it's like, hey, what are you doing?
We good. Leave us
Wait,
alone.
no. He asked for this.
Yes.
No, literally,
shit.
he asked for it.
Give me a persuasion check with
You want me to-
disadvantage, Sylfania. Yeah,
Okay.
You're the one talking
Yeah.
to the guard.
No. I also
Wait.
yelled the earlier thing. Like I'm like.
Still, I'm
There's
sorry,
something
but
to
that is
Wait.
with disadvantage, my guy.
Oh, come on.
Oh, damn it, that's terrible. 4.
4. The guard is just like, I do not know what kind of fuckery is going on here, but you will step away from the man. And it's the same guy who brought you over. This dude.
I go
if
like
can get a
this.
picture.
And I step back in front of a Sylfania, and then I fucking will Sylfania.
Oh my
Can you at least? Oh, you can't even give me a warning.
Okay, Baax, through this pummeling, you've never felt the need like before when you were hit like a clearing of mind. Your mind was already clear. Now you're just hurt with a clear mind. But you're pretty sure you're not mind controlled.
Danny, are you resisting?
Am I resisting?
I don't know, man. Jesus.
Well, here's the thing. You kind of sucker punched me here, so I don't know.
Surprise!
Would I automatically like react when I see the punch try coming at me? Just
No,
like
girl.
muscle reaction.
My girl, no, you're getting hit.
I'm getting hit. Okay.
With a 22, you're getting hit. How much damage? did you do?
22. How much? 22 definitely hits.
Oh, 21. Give me damage.
19 hit.
He also rolled flurry of blows again.
Why did you do flurry of blows? I just need one. I just need one.
Sure.
I just need one. No.
Man wants to make sure. I mean, he gets like how many wisdom saves? Like
Bro,
3?
you rolled 2 7s and a 5!
I gotta be sure!
Fucking! Oh my gosh.
A
It's
little-
fucking 19 bludgeoning! I have
Guys.
30 HP, bro!
To all the DMs out there, if you want your party to self-destruct, just put a mind control mechanic in there. You'll be fine.
Just give me an excuse to pummel them.
God damn it!
Okay, you're still up, Soldana. As you're being, well, beaten to the inch of your life, your mind is still clear. That kind of sense of strange, like the moment a thought crawls into your mind that is not within a certain agenda, you dismiss it immediately. That sort of feeling of certainty, once it went away, it hasn't come back, and now that you're being pummeled, you're like pretty sure you've not been mind controlled for the last 15 minutes. You're fine.
All right, Luba.
Luba at this point is just like backing away and being like, no beating. This is not right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do this. And she touches her chest, and you see magic cast.
You shouldn't be able
cast
to.
magic in here, right?
Yeah.
Well, she attempts to. As she presses on her chest to cast the magic, it like you can see the light go, and then and as it settled down, you see the runes. You see the runes on the inside of the cell, sort of light up, and then the guard's like, "Okay, that's it, everybody." Your what was your persuasion was like 4, wasn't it, Soldana?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, "Okay, that's it, everybody, stop." And a few Garda come in and they like put you to the sides and let's see.
Really, I wanted to get hit!
Okay.
We were into it. We were into it.
Baax, Soldana, and Fervorand, your hands are tied with rope, and you are
Why
sat
me?
in corners of different corners of the cell. And then the Garda look at you guys and basically say, "If any of this happens again, we're gonna put you into a different cell. We're gonna separate the three
I
of
just
you."
want to ask, why me and Soldana? We got pummeled by this guy.
Because you know it is confusing. You've been fighting each other. I do not care. It's late at
I
night.
mean,
I've
it's
been
a bit
stuck here.
confusing, I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck
I believe
this.
you've done
You people,
this.
you
My
people,
rights.
you people are weird. You people are weird and creepy, and just enough. And he closes the door behind him and sits down
Don't
and just like,
judge. Don't you dare kink shame us.
I get up with my tight bound hands and I go to like the front of the door and go, "Hear me out. Listen." And then I fucking roundhouse kick Lupa.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Oh my god.
try to hit her. Come on, man. Try to hit Luba. Try to hit a paladin. Although
Oh fuck. 10.
she doesn't have her weapons, but she still has her armor. You do not hit. It like clang comes off her
That's
armor.
funny.
Oh,
Makes up for it. That makes up.
that's one.
What?
Dude, that's what?
Goddamn flurry of blows.
Okay. To reiterate, because the gang, people on the stream cannot see what's happening.
Whoa.
He rolled. Hold on, before you roll damage, he rolled a 10 to attack the first time, and then rolled a nat 20 and a nat 20 to attack her. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I need to write this down. Hold on. I need a
This is why
second.
the fucking dice god.
Does
Oh
she
my
die?
god. Wait.
You got 18 damage, is fine.
It's 18 points and she's a paladin.
Yeah, she's a paladin. She's only 18.
Hold
that's
up, hold
nothing.
up. Okay. Fervorand,
Yeah?
just a second. I'm just writing stuff down. Writing stuff down.
You know what? I have inspiration. You know, no, I'm gonna save it.
Nah, keep it at same. Alright. Okay, gang. Jesus.
Okay.
Right, where we at? I'm a bit lost. Okay, so how much damage did you do to Luba? Jesus Christ.
18.
18 damage. My god. Oh, she's still fine. You've done 18 damage. She's got 30 hit points. She's okay.
Now make sure to punch yourself now, Fervent.
Yes, so as you roundhouse kick Luba, the first one like glances off her armor, and then another one like kicks her in the face, and then you turn around and you swipe her feet from under her, and she like just goes down.
Cracks her neck on the bench, she's permanently dead.
No,
Oh,
as she
God.
gets up, you notice her nose is bleeding and she's looking up at you with like this, what the hell, man? But she doesn't seem to be acting any different from before, or you've done enough damage so that like she would need to roll a few rolls, and if she like, I'm just gonna put it here, none of y'all have saved your wisdom checks. Luba rolled a nat 20 against mind control.
Well, just in case, I'll actually run up and drop kick Febron as well.
Please
Okay.
drop kick him at this point.
Let me tell you something.
Oh.
Let me tell you
I
something.
go, Baax
Baax,
asked me to do it.
Baax, you are not proficient with kicks. And your hands are also tied. So give me an unarmed strike with disadvantage, please, to attack Furbrand.
Ooh,
I feel like this
look
makes
forward to
sense. I'm sorry, y'all.
Well,
My
that's
dude,
not happening.
you do not hit him. Furbrand, you
I
just
assume-
he runs up to you and tries to kick, but his leg doesn't go high enough, and you just like sidestep. You're like, what are you doing, man?
His like legs fall through the bars, and he's just hanging there.
I accidentally kicked the guard instead.
Can I try to punch him?
Go ahead. This is
Yeah.
a free-for-all melee at this point. I love
Let's
this.
go.
I'm just standing like completely still, and you're just all too disoriented from the beating I fucking gave you.
And Belluar and Trouts looks at him like, what the fuck is
They're just sitting there like,
Come on. Oh, I missed too.
I'm just fucking standing there, and you're like too fucking busy to do anything.
okay.
Okay, I just like stand there, awkwardly my foot. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
Punch
guys
yourself, motherfucker.
you guys have been trying to hit Furbrand, and at this point, the
We were
guards
kind
just...
of really hurt after he beat the fucking shit out of
These
us.
guards
honestly.
are not having it. So this guy who escorted you guys last time comes up with a few other people. They grab you, Furbrand, and they drag you from the cell and put you into the adjacent one. They also come in, they take Sylfania, they grab you and put you in a different cell. And then they take you, Baax, and put you in a cell number 3. So the way things are right now is Trarel, Luba, and Belluar are in one cell. Sylfania, you're in a separate one. Baax, you're in a separate one. And Furbrand is in a separate one. The 3 of you, your hands are tied, while the rest of the gang isn't. Luba is still like...
before I get yeeted out of the cell, can I ask and say to like the 12s, trust? Is it
Punch your dad.
themselves and then say trust and then just walk away?
They look at each other, and then they look at you, and then Belluar just like, I don't know what that was, but sure, okay.
Fucking starts beating his son like it's not a daily occurrence.
Wait,
Sorry,
I got it.
little one.
I got an idea. Trial. Hold still, boy.
Hold still! If you remember, I think there was a phrase, nobody beats my son in front of me.
Nobody beats my son in front of me. So I guess I gotta beat my own son.
Anyway, after this shenanigans have happened, you guys have been separated, and you're pretty certain none of you are mind controlled from what you can tell at the moment.
As I put me in my own cell, I'm just like, this is what you should have done in the beginning.
The guards just don't reply to you. They've had enough of your shit, to be honest.
They're like, what the fuck, bro?
Okay, Furbrand, I need you now to give me a wisdom saving throw without advantage, just as is.
Man.
Because you haven't done one last round.
20.
Okay.
Not in that 20.
20.
Yeah, no, okay. That's fair enough.
Oh.
It seems to be quiet around here. The cells where you guys are, I'd say Baax, you're put up on the cell that's literally across the corridor from where you were. So you can see Trarel, Belluar, and Luba. Sylfania and Furbrand, you're put into the cells adjacent across from each other. So you can't see the other two, but you can see each other across the corridor, right? So far, from as far as you guys are aware, everything is doing fine. I'm going to do some background rolls real quick. You
Okay.
settle down for the night and decide if you want to do something before you go to bed and try to heal your hit points that you've lost.
I'm gonna start singing prison songs, baby.
Oh boy. You
Oh,
just want to
no.
piss off those guards, don't you? It's just what you
Yes.
want to do, man, isn't it? Okay.
At least punch yourself at this
You're
point.
not
Okay.
helping yourself before the court case right now. The subject was very uncooperative and kept fucking singing.
Okay, so that's 1.
You know, for a lawyer, I thought you would be better at this whole, I don't know, trying to make yourself, like, appear more innocent.
I mean,
Lawyer. It's cute.
Your first mistake.
I was assuming you were a lawyer.
You did tell them you're a lawyer, though, so.
I know, but I only know that meta-wise.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, you only told Luba. Holy shit, you guys. Holy shit is all I'm gonna say. Okay, as far as you guys are aware, everything's going quiet. You settle down, the guards sort of settle down as well. It's been like an hour or so. You guys are feeling really hurt and really sleepy. So, do you go back to sleep, Sildana and Baax? Or not?
I'll attempt to, yes.
Yes, I need to live. I'm not sure.
I literally, I don't have a lot of HP either.
Okay, you guys go to sleep. It's only you, Luba, and the 2 of you who are asleep. So I'm actually going to roll. Actually, no, I'm going to roll a die here. Pick odds or even, Baax.
Well,
Odds are your
the
fault.
odds are against us, so odds.
You want to pick odd? Okay, good. Fuck it, I'll roll a d20. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's a roll? Shit.
Yep.
There you go. Interesting. Saldana, you have a normal dream. Life's good with you. Baax, as you're asleep, you are... At first you start in this sort of weird... You know, this not like the same place you go to when you speak to your god, you know? And then suddenly things start... You feel things crawling from the darkness. You feel like thick black tentacles grab you by your legs. You feel restricted. You feel restrained, and it's
a wet dream.
Go on. Keep going.
Harder.
it's a weird nightmare.
I have been waiting for this.
Okay.
Yes, Shadow Daddy, yes.
Baax, these tentacles pull you through the ground, and you feel like you're dipped into icy cold water. And as they pull you below the surface, I need you to tell me, what is the worst nightmare Baax would have?
I mean, technically,
Further beating his ass again.
No, legitimately, what would be his worst nightmare?
going through that bath scene one more time with Febrand and like pulling the insects out again.
I don't think he remembers that anymore, though. I think he actually had that memory removed.
Yeah, but subconsciously, I feel like he knew after what happened. Like...
It had to be done, man. Bro code. Don't talk about it ever again.
So, for context, y'all, there was a fight in one of the previous episodes when the guys went into a house full of vermin, and there were some maggots that crawled up Fervorant's ass. And so after that event, they were also traumatized that Fervorant has asked Baax to pull out the maggots out of his ass. That's the context. Hope you're happy.
Man went fishing, and he was fishing for worms.
In his ass. Okay, so that's your nightmare. Just endless worms coming out of Fervorant's ass.
I guess you can add Cave Explorer to your resume.
Oh no.
Why do they keep coming? Stop, please! Stop, please!
Okay, guys, we're on Twitch. I put warnings. I put warnings on this episode.
It was not enough. It was not enough.
There's not enough warnings for this episode, but I'm going to say one more thing to add to the horror of this situation. Baax, I don't know if you've seen that part I'm not gonna say it. This is too twisted.
Don't do it, coward!
But you know, the maggots of the size of the maggots, they're just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and in the end, it's reminiscent of a certain genre of animation that you could see. A certain subgenre is all I'm going to say, because don't want Twitch to ban me.
Listen,
But
Max,
there
have you seen the movie Evolution?
Evolution?
No, actually.
No.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
where like a meteor falls to the ground and like rapidly evolves. In the
Oh.
end of the movie, it becomes
Yeah.
like this huge fucking mess.
Yeah,
and
it
they,
becomes a giant, single
Yeah.
cell.
and they go in a fire truck and like up the entire ladder with like a hose of white creamy goo and spray it into the hole of the monster as it erupts goo all over their faces. And that's just what you're experiencing right now, but it's just
Okay.
my butthole.
Yes, it's nasty. And I need you to...
The sound! Why the sound?
Yes, you feel damage.
Why did you use the sound effect? That was too real. Why did you use the fake one?
You...
Because I am the sound effect.
This is so disturbing. You take 10 points of damage.
Hey, what's up, mental psych? What's mental damage?
And your hit point maximum is reduced by that amount.
Wait,
Wait,
was that
wait.
before or after, like, my
I'm about to
hit
say,
point,
because
like,
he only had 4
slowly got through?
HP.
'Cause
I
I'm
would
dying
say-
in my sleep.
He's literally dying in his sleep.
I would say...
Technically, he didn't finish a long rest.
I would say that this nightmare takes a while to set up, and usually, you know, when you go to sleep, you go into your REM. I'm just gonna say, fuck it, I don't want to deal with the mechanics of a dead PC right now, so what I'm gonna do is...
Screams while having a heart attack.
Come on.
No! Not the maggots! Not the maggots!
Just imagine like walking past the cell, seeing Baax like dead on the ground, frothing out the mouth, having written in his own blood, just not the maggots on the floor.
Okay.
Let me roll.
Technically, I'm not gonna lie. Technically, mechanically, you're dead, Baax, permanently. There
Fucking
is
adore
no,
me.
there is
I'm, like,
no
very-
saving throws. There is no, with this particular effect, if you die to it, you are dead. However, I do not want, you know, I'm not the type of person that's like, okay, that's it, fuck you, make a new character, right?
Heart attack to maggot taking out of asses.
However, to be
Beautiful
fair,
end to a character.
I'm going to give a few, you know, nice DM points. However, if you fail these rolls, my dude, you are dead. Let's just make it this way, okay? I'm gonna give you a lifeline. You a lifeline. I need you.
I gotta get another beard for this. Hang on.
Unless
Okay.
how you roll
I'll-
that ones out the ass.
Oh my god, dying to maggot porn in your dream. That's horrible.
You know, that is somebody's fetish, actually.
Oh god, definitely not Baax's if this is your nightmare.
Can I please, like,
Hey.
back the whispered one to save me? Can I get a religion roll in there as well?
That's what I was gonna play. I'm waiting for him to come back with his beer. But, because, okay, this is not a cop-out, genuinely. Okay, guys, listen, serious time. Not a cop-out. Generally speaking, because Baax's patron is basically appears to him in his dreams and helps him with the mind control stuff, and he has, over the last 20 episodes of the campaign, it wouldn't be unfair of me to not let him help here. However, this will depend on a religion roll from Baax. I'm gonna give you a DC before you roll.
I'm gonna tell you, Mats, right now, the dice god is not in your favor. I hope to God you die to fucking maggot
Okay.
anal porn.
I'm gonna put...
Fucking leave for tonight.
okay.
Just go home. Just go back. Just go to sleep after this. If you die.
Okay. So, Baax, you need... Let's do it this way. If you roll a 20 or above, this effect gets negated. You just wake up with 1 hit point.
Oh.
Well, actually, no. This effect gets negated and, like, you know, it gets completely blocked. Your god helps you. If you roll 18 to 20, you will give me a constitution save to not die, right? I'm basically giving you a death save, singular. If you roll 15 to 18, there are going to be... Let me think. I wasn't planning to kill you with this effect. I didn't know you're going to get reduced so hard.
It's funny.
It is funny, yeah, to be fair.
A funny boy now.
I would be honored.
Yeah,
to
okay,
die
so-
to Rainbow Maggot-born.
Yeah, if you get higher than 20, doesn't have to be nat 20, depends on your religion, the effect doesn't take place. If you take 18 to 20, you will wake up with 1 hit point. If you get 15 to 18, I will let you have 1 death save, but if you fail that, you're dead. If you roll lower than 15, my dude, nothing happens.
All right. Do you want to head into the battle thing so they can see?
Oh gosh, okay, let me set this up, because this is interesting.
Honestly, like, if he's gonna die just because of this, I'm gonna give him...
What? Sorry, what did you say?
I was gonna say, like, if he's gonna die from this, I'd, like, give him, like, the chance or something.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I said, I'm giving you these chances. Using the mechanics, if I was a rule lawyer, you'd be like dead and screw you in a way. However, let's let the dice decide. Okay.
And I'm guessing it's a normal roll, yeah?
Yeah, actually, now that it's a normal roll, and to be fair, you are in constant danger, and your god... Yeah. I'm gonna lower the DC a bit. You have to roll above a 12 to get a chance to do a death save. You have to...
One.
So yeah, 12 to 16, you get a death save. 16 to 18, you're up with 1 hit point. No, sorry, yeah, you do a constitution save to not have to do a death save. And okay, just roll, it's fine. You have to roll higher than a 12 to get a chance not to insta-die. Hold on, let me log into the Foundry. Okay,
Say it with me, Danny. Nat. One.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
Exactly.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One. Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One.
Nat.
Nat.
One.
One. Nat. One. Nat. One. Nat. One. Nat. One. Nat. One. Nat. One. Oh, sweet.
Space God!
Get out of there!
Holy shit! Oh my god!
My dude, I'm so sorry. You are full on dead.
The Dice God has spoken.
Goodbye.
Tap
Okay. So, in this dream, you are engulfed by the amount of maggots. You call out to your god to help, but you feel the lack of connection between you and your Lord of Shadows as you slowly start slipping away, and you feel like a pain in your chest as if something has reached out and grabbed your heart, and you can feel the last few beats before it stops, and this like claw pulls out whatever is left of your soul.
The maggots crawled out of my
Wait,
ass and into your
technically,
mouth.
technically, I have the Ring of Mind Shielding, right?
Mm-hmm.
That says if there's nothing in it, and if I die with it, my soul goes into it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's do this way, please, because this particular effect also traps your soul. So it's contested roll.
I'm about to say, like, you're gonna be trapped.
But
I would
Like,
argue
you're not gonna go to heaven or hell, bro. You're not going to the afterlife. You're gonna be fucking trapped.
in Matt's favor, and as much as I hate being in his favor, I would argue that attunement trumps spell.
But yes, he did die to this effect.
He did die, but that is the attunement that
Okay,
that's,
actually,
that is watching out for.
Actually, the correct wording of this effect, I think some of you already know what it is, but if the target was evil, its soul is trapped in a bag. However, these particular, I'm just gonna say it, the hag did this. I mean, who else would it be? We all are aware of this. And the idea with these hags is that they're slightly, how do I put this, buffed by the devil magic, by fiendish magic, where they're capable of trapping souls without the need for them to be evil. They can trap innocent souls. Now, because of that effect, I'm going to give you, let's just do rollies, okay? Let's just do rollies in public. I'm going to do a public roll, and that's going to be, without any additions, without anything else, that's going to be the DC you have to beat with advantage. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to beat a 10. So if you just roll me 2d...
What was
Oh, sorry.
of me?
I don't know, I rolled as you. No offense. Anyway, that was a 10. It was me rolling, no offense. You have to beat a 10 with advantage, just on a d20. Just give me a luck check.
Come on, you can do this.
Just a 2d20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you have advantage. Oh, nat 20!
Nat 20, baby.
Okay. So as you're feeling your soul being ripped out of you, and last vestiges of your body are in your dream, in this maggot butthole-filled dream, you hold the last vestiges of your strength, and the ring on your hand glows. I'm gonna say Luba is asleep. I'm gonna give Trial a perception check to see if he can see. Your ring is hidden, right? You make it invisible most of the time.
Oh yeah. It is invisible permanently.
I just like giving perception checks. Let's see if Trial, what's his passive perception, actually? It's not that high. It's 14. Nah, he
I
probably
will
wouldn't
be
see this.
loud while dying. I will literally be like screaming in my sleep.
That would
So-
depend on like the magic.
Yeah, as you feel yourself and your soul being pulled, and then this in your dream of maggots and whatever, you have this vision of a twisted, dark-skinned, sort of hair and knots kind of woman pulling something out of your body. You blink, and then your soul is sucked into your ring of Mayan shielding. However, for all intents and purposes, your body is now dead.
But there is like a chance here to save you is the thing.
There is a chance to resurrect him, revivify, whatever. There's magical spells out there who can do this, but do you have access to them? I don't know. You're gonna have
Not
to figure
currently.
this out.
So pretty much, yeah, Baax is out of commission.
For
For
now.
mechanical purposes, Danny,
Yeah.
Revivify is only if the corpse is a minute old max, unless you cast Gentle Repose, then you have a week.
Yes. However, there is, I believe, the other two is Resurrection, which means you revive as whatever other race.
No, that's reincarnation.
Sorry. But I know there's a...
resurrection, true
Yeah.
resurrection, and reincarnation.
Yes. But I think Resurrection is like a level 5 spell? Level 6 spell? Let me double check.
I think it's 6 or 7. I don't know, man. I don't play clerics that much.
Yes.
I
Anyway.
remember you got it like at 6th level when you were playing cleric.
It's a 7th level spell.
Not at 6th level. At 5th level, you get 3rd level spells.
It is a
So-
7th level spell, Resurrection, and it has to be dead for no more than a century. Okay?
So Baax is already out of the count then.
I mean, you could technically argue that like the reason why Revivify and whatnot doesn't work is because the soul is no longer at the body after like a minute or something. Not that the
So-
body is decayed enough.
We'll
So we could
see.
use your ring as a conduit.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see. For now, for all intents and purposes, my guy, you... okay, so... Forgive me, Baax, if you say you want to make it a loud, noisy death, I need you to give me a... I'd say Constitution check. Just to see if you can, like, I've had this, like, sleep paralysis when you're asleep and you're trying to make noise in real life and it's really difficult. You have to, like, break through the sleep barrier. But once you do, you wake up and you make noise and you're just like, shit. But still, I need you to give me just a straight Constitution check, DC 14, to make noise as you're dying.
Much like a Skyrim character, Baax just like
Yeah.
gets up, looks the guard in the eyes, and just goes and ragdolls to the ground.
Yeah, no, that's a 5.
That is a 5. You die quietly in your sleep.
Oh.
As you're lying down, and
Title
your
old
friends
Dies.
are not aware because you're not even in the same jail cell, my dude. You guys have been separated due to your bickering, and you quietly pass away. So I believe your consciousness and your soul is now trapped in the ring, and whoever wears the ring can speak to you, but you are just trapped in the nebula. My guy.
I love how your death is pretty much exclusively my fault.
It's literally,
is.
if you just did not do flurry of blows,
Yeah.
just hit him once, he would have been fine.
Pretty much.
3 strikes equals 3 saves!
Yeah, that is true. Again, this is all the will of the dice. I have given my DMs best to try to save your ass, but there are rules for a reason. And you quietly pass on. The rest of you, I'd say the people in the cell beyond you, because Luba's asleep, and both Trarel and Belloir do not have the same... yeah, the audience... Oh, sorry, I'm just reading a comment that's really sweet. But yeah, no, none of the people in the cell across from you, Baax, unfortunately notice you dying, because you don't make any noise and you just seem to be sleeping. And their passive perception isn't like 18 or above to notice something's wrong. Ferverand and Sildana, you're just sitting across from each other. You can't tell what's going on. So morning comes, and, you know, the guards are sort of starting to bring in breakfast to try to feed you guys. You guys wake up, all is fine. And at some point, you see the guards sort of come up to the cell where Baax is, and you hear a bit of a kerfuffle, you, Sildana, and Ferverand, and then you hear a shuffling of feet, a quick fumbling with keys.
This doesn't really help our case, does it?
You don't know. You don't know
It doesn't
what happened
help
here.
My case.
So as they
certainly not your
as
case.
they immediately open the door, you hear a bunch of shouts. You know, some slapping. You hear you guys, the two of you, see one of the younger guards or one of the squires running up the stairs with like terrified face, and a bunch of other people coming in, and it seems to be noisy, and they're all talking, and you guys can't really tell. You figure out something's wrong with Baax, but you don't know what's up for now.
Nah, I'm pretty sure he's fine.
I love how dreadful this moment is, and I'm just listening to tasty, mindless beats.
As you guys... No, that one sealed your fate, my guy. As you know...
We literally conjured up that nat one so hard.
These
Nice God, baby.
These guards, they suddenly walk over, and immediately you see Jack Sar, so the guy with the horns, the commissioner, as they say, or the sheriff, if you will, for easier terms, the higher officer, come into the room and be like, all right, so what the hell's going on? Why are y'all so noisy in the morning? And then you hear the French guy who sort of separated you, the elf, half-elf, turn towards him and say, sir, I am terribly sorry, but one of the prisoners has passed away at night, and we do not know from what. And at this point, Belloir and Charles look up and say, What's going on? What do you mean passed away? Luba immediately rushes to the bars, try to see Baax's body, but you know there's a lot of people crowding around you. The commissioner sort of looks over at you and goes, looks over at his crew and goes, "How the hell did he die? I mean, what happened? I mean, this is the safest facility. There ain't no magic going on inside the cells, and he was in solitary confinement. What the hell happened?" Everybody looks really flummoxed because a person who was about to be tried died in prison, and that's also not a good look for them.
That's not really a good look for anybody.
No. And
but it does help our case.
Oh God!
I just said help our case.
They beat us in prison.
Listen, we're accusing them of being hags. If they go, we're not hags, and I go, oh yeah, then how did he die in prison? All by himself.
At this point, there is a little bit of confusion, and you guys see Baax's body being removed and brought out of the prison.
The thing is, there is eyewitnesses that like he was fine before he went in the cell. and he was by himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
non-lethal beating to a pulp.
as your body, a consensual, non-lethal beating to a pulp from eyewitness accounts. But no, your Baax's body's being passed next to you, and this feeling of unrealness, Sylfania, where you're like, oh, he's just unconscious, he's fine. You see the sort of limp
Horror in his eyes.
the open eyes struck in horror, and like the limp body of Baax being rushed next to yourself. And then you manage to look through and you see Trarl's completely pale, like confused and shocked face. Belwar looking extremely, like he's usually like, it's alright, you guys, we're fine. Very, very concerned. And Luba just being like gnawing at the bars and just being like, let me out, let me try to help him. I can heal, I don't know. Like, she is panicking right there.
Now does this activate my PTSD?
Oh, faux show. Give me a PTSD roll, my gal.
I'm gonna give you the biggest PTSD ever seen.
Seeing Baax's lifeless corpse being carried past me.
Whoa, let's go! That's a 7.
Fervent finally hears it. His conscience warning him, this is what he's been doing. And it says...
God fucking damn it.
It's a serious moment, y'all. A PC just died. You bastards. Anyway.
I'm never not gonna make fun of him.
That's fine.
This is literally, I think, like, isn't this the second time I've seen one of your characters die now, Mads?
Maybe. Can I do something like Ring of Power style? Basically being that, like, while I'm being carried past them, could I like will the ring to fall off and like kind of scoop towards them?
You're gonna haunt my fucking mind.
And you just like inside the ring, just like push it.
Right, before we do this, I want to deal with Sylfania's PTSD, please. Because she rolled a 7, which you failed. Now give me a d6 roll of yours. With disadvantage. So roll me 2d6, and you want to get high and not low.
See, I rolled a 1 on one of them.
My girl. Sorry, I just had a bite.
Yeah. I'm not doing good right now, is what's about to happen.
You immediately get transported during the time in Night Favicia where you were the last one standing of all of your team in the same prison. It was a bit more damp and a lot more bloody, but you've seen corpses completely dismembered, disfigured, being passed next to your cell, one by one. All of your friends, all of your colleagues, everybody you worked with. And this, like, slow motion of Baax being moved up. You check out, my gal. You check out for...
This is what we TPK.
Sorry.
We somehow self-TPK in a jail.
You check out for 4 full hours. And no amount of damage, no amount of fucking magic can wake you the fuck up, girl, because you are dissociating hard right now. You are in that headspace.
When do I just like start developing like another personality or something?
What I want to say, if you roll a natural 1 on a wisdom save, we will discuss that whenever you think it's good for you. But I think at the moment you're just not believing what's happening because it's so sudden and out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But also
I'm dissociating so hard right now.
Yeah. Okay, Baax, if you want to do this.
I want to do the Ring of Power shit.
Baax. I miss you.
Okay, what you need to do, Baax,
You
my
don't
guy.
have the rights to make that sound.
My bro,
You
my
cursed
guy.
my dice.
My bro, my guy, my dude. To do
funny.
this impossible thing, I need you to roll me an arcana, and I need you to get me a nat 20, because that's the only way you can... Your soul can power a ring to physically come off your finger. Invisible ring, and roll ting 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 down across the thing. You need to roll me a nat 20.
God damn it.
Listen, I think she's being reasonable here. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude.
Hey, bless my fucking dice right now, you cunt.
Pray to me.
No.
Pray. Pray. Do it. Pray.
You made this happen. You can bless it.
Pray.
You owe me this.
I'll bless it when you suck my dick.
Okay. Well, you know what? Never mind then. I'll grab it.
Oh.
Nah,
Oh.
okay.
That is a 17.
Sad damn.
The ring stays invisible and firm on your body. Trarrell is aware you're wearing it, because so is he. In a way that I think him and your mom, your family, and Belloir are the only ones who know that you own one and you're wearing it. None of your party members are aware because you haven't told them. I think, and you're the only one with detect magic, so you have seen Berberant wearing a similar ring, but that's it.
Yep.
Your consciousness is still there. You haven't passed on. You are in the ring. I'm gonna say, I'm not sure whether you're aware of what's going on outside. I'm just gonna say you are, but you can't do fuck all about it until somebody puts you on.
You do jack shit.
For a 17, not fall off, we can at least just blink the invisibility off and on.
Nah, my dude. Well,
No.
I said what I said.
Okay.
Invisible ring. It is what it is. So,
You miss every shot you don't take.
The whole point of that ring was it stayed invisible, as you said.
Yep. I did ask you specifically. Okay, let me just double check if you're aware. So you have the choice to remain in the ring or depart to the afterlife. You can telepathically communicate with any creature wearing it. And a wearer cannot prevent this telepathic communication. So you're just an annoying ring person now.
Guys, I'm in here.
Nobody can prevent you from talking to them if they're wearing the ring, but only if they're wearing the ring.
I've been trying to reach you about your extended car warranty.
Oh no.
Okay, so the rest of you guys are left with these horrible news. While
What
the
happens
guards...
if he gets cremated with the ring on or something?
I want that ring so fucking bad right now.
You guys know that...
Imagine he just becomes like your avatar or something. He's just talking to you.
You guys know that in Laudenborough, bodies aren't cremated, mostly because the Divine resurrects a certain number of people a year, every year on a holiday, national holiday, as people who have contributed a lot to the Empire. But because of that, there's this whole idea of potential resurrection in your life. Which is why a lot of the traditions in the Holy Emperor of Ravinia is that you don't actually you don't set fire to a body, you bury it in a grave, in a point where if you ever need to get back the bones or some sort of remains, it is easy to find and then dig up and do stuff with.
You know what that sounds like? A necromancer's wet dream.
Mm-hmm. But obviously necromancy is outlawed in this country, so...
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of funny when you think
If
about it.
they're practicing necromancy, I don't think they care.
I mean, the hacks are already doing it. To be fair.
That's illegal. Oh, stabs him.
Well, in any case, for one thing, you're sure he's not going to be cremated. If anything, his body is not going to be interred until the end of this trial for sure, because
now he is just evidence at this point.
This is suspicious death, and that's why they're going to keep him. They're going to keep his body. They're probably going to call some clerics in to cast Gentle Repose as soon as possible. They're not on site because they weren't expecting people to die today.
So they are going to be maintaining his body.
Yes, it is the body is too old now to do Revivify on. However, they're going to keep it from decomposing to then just figure out how he died during the trial.
It also helps, Denny, that Gentle Repose also makes it harder to bring you back as an undead. So it's an understandable preventive measure.
Yes. And Gentle Repose is it a cantrip? No. First level spell, but I think it's a very low level spell, I remember. So it's not that difficult to do, and a lot of clerics, Probably not acolyte levels, but people who have
Probably
been
have some standard priests whose
Yes.
only job is to like walk every week and cast it as many people as possible.
Yes, enlightened. This is one of their sort of many jobs apart from doing the psalms and giving out the energy of the Holy Lady. It is to go over graveyards of bodies interred within the bounds of the Holy Church on consecrated ground anyway, where you cannot raise dead on consecrated ground. But they also tend to sprinkle gentle repose once in a while on some of the graves near headstones, and they maintain the headstones to make sure they know who's in what grave. In case, because you never know, one of these people who have died now might be later on elevated to a status of a warrior of the faith, and then the divine will decide to bring them back as a reward, and then they need the body, so they have to make a really good making sure they know who's buried where, so they don't mix up the remains. So these are the things that all of you as members of this empire are aware of, so that's why I'm telling you this. However, your brains are not thinking this right now, especially you, Sylfania. You are still in your catatonic state for at least 4 hours. For Varand,
means I'm probably gonna wake up at trial.
Yeah.
the trial, right now it's early morning, so you guys have gotten a long rest. Everybody got their health points back, except for Baax. Because they haven't actually figured out you're dead until morning. So you've been dead a while, a few hours at least. So the rest of you guys are stuck in the cell. Like, there's not even guards with you anymore, because they've all just trying to deal with a dead body right now. So you have a few minutes of unsupervised.
You know how they tied my hands?
Yep.
I'm just gonna like use my mouth and just undo the rope.
Give me a sleight of hand check with advantage, because come on.
I mean, sleight of mouth to be specific, but sure.
I'll give you sleight of mouth.
Let's see how good that song is. I'm kidding.
16.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I choked on my burger.
That's not the only thing you're gonna choke on. Yeah, boy.
But in any case, you've done. Oh, jeez, that was a loud firework. Yeah, I'm always.
Off and off.
I always feel sad for killing PCs, but I'm sorry. Even with a second chance, which you shouldn't have gotten, getting in that one, that just nail in a coffin, my dude.
Don't feel sorry for killing PCs as long as it's memorable or funny.
It is.
This
It's
both.
Jesus Christ.
That was pretty good.
Okay, you managed to easily like untie the thing. You can hear Luba literally going like, no, this is not supposed to happen. I mean, what? And she's just like breaking the fuck down. The rest of that cell
I'm
next
like,
to you is
I'm like
quiet.
zoned out. I'm like looking off into the distance.
You see Sylfania just like her eye twitches a little bit, but there's no response. You are the only one that is currently coherent. What do you do?
I store the rope in my back.
Okay, you have. Let me see.
Like 10 feet of rope.
Let me
20 feet of
go.
rope?
Oh,
That's a lot
sorry.
of rope.
Sorry. How do you roll? I keep forgetting on this.
Didn't
Is
you
it
just, like,
hash
tear
roll?
this rope up? Why are you keeping it?
I don't know American measurements.
Okay, you
It's
got-
a magic number that I just
You got about 30
Pull
feet
out
of.
your foot and just like count.
You got about 30 feet of rope. So add that to you.
Okay.
They've it was very well tied in a lot of knots, and once you untied it, you managed to get yourself 30 feet of rope. Your hands are now free. What do you do?
Prison songs, baby.
You
Oh
start-
boy, that
there's
probably
literally-
helps everything out.
There's literally nothing I can do from within myself, so I might as well make it entertaining.
Okay, as
Is there a cup somewhere that I can like run across the bars?
you do have a cup with you.
I run it across the bars as I sing my prison songs.
So as Sylfania
There's finally light.
Sylfania's checked out. Fervorand is singing bawdy prison songs.
Swing,
Bruh, you're
Luba-
you're such a fucking asshole. I swear to God.
Luba is
That's my gimmick.
Luba is literally like cry screaming in a corner, while Trarel and Belwar are just being quiet. And on that note,
They
we're going to
just
take
learned that their chosen one just died.
we're going to take a 5-minute break because it's about time for a break. We will be back with whatever happens next, but go get a drink, have a toilet break, and we'll come back and see what happens.
I need to drink real quick.
Break, but she's going to break my fucking balls. I swear to God. Beware.
Yeah.
I'll be a changed man when I come back.
We've already do enough breaking of Mads' balls here,
We'll
I
see you
think.
soon. Bye. Hello, everybody.
Ah,
How are you guys?
our boy is dead.
We're back.
Ice cream.
He went to go get a drink.
Our boy is dead. Coming back from before the break, Baax has died in his sleep to maggot porn and hag. Sylfania is catatonic. Ferbrand is singing prison songs while the DMPCs are basically just shocked in the other cell.
Currently an ordinary D&D session.
Yeah, normal, pretty standard. Everything's good. After a few hours, not hours, let's say after a few minutes, the guards come back, and mostly the Jaxar Lothier, which is the guy who arrested you lot, and the dark-skinned half-elf pop down to where you guys are, and Jaxar looks at you guys and says, "All right then. So from talking to my to Private here, he has mentioned that last night there's been a bit of an altercation between the three of you, and so he had to separate you guys into different cells. Now, it is mighty suspicious that after this altercation, one of you dies while in solitary confinement. So I would like to know what the fuck happened, because this is bad for everybody."
I don't answer him.
I don't answer him either.
You don't answer. Ferbrand doesn't answer. Everybody else is just staring at him, and he goes like,
I'm
right.
looking at my fingernails, completely like making it obvious my hands are still not
I
tied.
am
anymore.
literally catatonic. I am staring off into space.
He looks at Luba, who is just like, he can't be that. No, you must be wrong. He's just asleep or cursed or something. And he goes like, nah, my girl, he is truly dead. I promise you. We had a priest come over and check him out, and
His heart stopped. His not breathing.
he is dead for sure. Now that's really bad towards the trial, so I'm gonna call your lawyer real quick. He's on the way here because he was doing some investigation and calling witnesses for the trial. So, but before he gets
I
here,
can only imagine how much he is losing his shit right now.
but before he gets here, I want to ask you guys, why were you fighting last night? Because what was going on? Like,
Are you gonna write it down?
I mean, yeah. And you notice that the private next to him like opens up a notebook.
Are you saying yes because I asked you, or because you were going to?
I'm gonna write down whatever you say because it's pertinent to the case. We want to figure out how he died in our custody. Because these cells, and he points at the cells, like, as you showed, you cannot cast magic inside the cell or from outside inside the cell. So I don't know how the hell this happened.
Well, please don't take any offense to this, but you haven't exactly been the most capable officer.
All I'm gonna say is you ain't wrong there, and this was an unexpected turn of events, and I'm extremely sorry that it happened. However, I do not know how it happened because the guards haven't done anything, and the only strange thing was the three of you fighting. This is why I'm asking.
You see, that's what I mean with incapable. Your negligence meant that you didn't have an officer paying attention to your prison mates at all.
He
Especially
sighs.
right before a trial.
He sighs and like rubs his eyes as the private next to him is just like visibly like pale and drawn and fucking terrified. And at this point, a door slams and Alanan walks in, and he looks at you, Sylfania, sitting there completely catatonic.
I'm pretty sure he's seen this once before. I feel.
Actually, no, because
no, wait, he's never
he's never seen you like this. This has happened after that mission, but by the time you came home, he was gone. So, for those of you who don't... Oh, I think this has been mentioned in some of the sessions, but I'm going to tell you... I'm just finding a picture of him real quick. But yes, basically what I'm going to tell you is the fact that Sylfania went on that mission to Night Favisia when Alanan here was 16, and before she left, he told her if you leave now, don't ever come back, or if you do, I'm not gonna be here. And after you got captured, tortured, blah, 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 lots of stuff happened. You finally made it back home after
I
debriefing.
got super fucked up.
You got super
and
fucked
then
up.
I came back.
He wasn't there already. He has left, true to his word. And since then, you've gotten a letter or two from him, but you have never seen him in person. So your memory is like of a 15-year-old, very young him. That's it. That's all you remember. And this is the first time you've seen him in 20 years. He comes over and he looks at you, Fervret, looks at Jaxar, looks at the notebook, and immediately comes over and picks it out from his hands and says, "Just a little note, you do not speak to my clients without me present, and you do not write anything down." He turns towards you. "I hope none of you have said anything about what happened?"
I asked him if he was taking notes.
"Good. Now, you may leave." And the guard is like, "Excuse me, there was a murder or death that happened on our premises. I'm going to stay."
Well,
and Alana just, like, looks up at him and says, "You may leave." Jaxar, like, looks him over, goes, "I'll let you have counsel with your people. However, we need to have a conversation." And he points at you, Fervret, and the rest of, like, that cell, and walks out. Yeah.
I say to him, and with him I mean my lawyer, well, I did say one thing. I did mention how incompetent he was as an officer.
"That is pretty obvious," and he says it to the back of the officers retreating from the cells. As the door closes behind him, he turns towards you and goes, "What the fuck happened? I am gone for a few hours and one of you dies? And why the fuck are you in separate cells? And what do I hear about this? You guys were fighting each other?" Okay, just, can somebody tell me what's going on? Because I am freaking out right now.
Well, everybody seemed to be having a synchronized nightmare, so I woke them up. And then Baax said, "Yeah, that sounds like some type of magic I know." I didn't catch exactly what kind of magic it was. I would ask him, but he's kind of dead right now. And he asked me to beat the living shit out of him, so I did. But, I mean, I didn't kill him. I just beat him up really hard.
So
and I did that to Sildana and Luba.
Okay.
We got put in solitary confinement. And
That
then
makes-
he died in the morning.
Okay, that makes sense that... Okay, first of all, surprising that any sort of magic got cast here. However, let me actually see if... Let me make him do an Arcana check to see what's going on here. Because
He's been studying magic, hasn't he?
No, he's been studying hags.
Hags, has he?
Yeah.
No, he's been studying law. Come on.
Well, law, but he's been on the case of this hag for years now, trying to find out, because she's been doing this racket with the children in multiple cities before she came to Lodenborough. He's been on her tail, as he told Ferverand. So I'm gonna make him do the thing and see if he is in any case aware of what's going on. Give me a second. I'm just gonna bring up his character
For
sheet.
my boy, Prince Hansen, 69, the perfect way to sound convincing is to just be completely nonchalant about whatever you say. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you just act like it's not a big deal, people will believe it.
Okay, he's doing an Arcana check. He doesn't have that much to it. However, let's try this. That is a 16. He looks over, like, he starts thinking about this really hard, and he's sort of looking over you guys and going like, right, well, these bars, there's impossible to cast any kind of magic from outside in and from inside out. So this cannot have been done from, like, this plane of existence. It's impossible. These bars are made from Chamontian steel and have been enchanted by the priests. So it negates all sorts of magic.
You say that nothing can be cast from outside to in, but there's nothing preventing you from casting something on someone and then it taking effect when you're in.
That is very true. There's also another option that, I mean, it cannot be cast from this plane of existence. Now, he's gonna do an investigation check. Oh boy. That isn't good. That is a nat 1.
Oh.
He looks
God damn,
over...
what is with the nat ones?
I don't know what's going on, man. He looks over
It's
the
more
bars.
entertaining.
He looks over the bars and looks over at you guys and says, I don't know what this could be. I mean, I know hags have... And we sort of dealt with, you said succubi and incubi, right? During the time where I've been trying to get the witnesses to come to the trial and to investigate the house of, you know, that you've mentioned about, you know, where trial was being held, I've quickly looked over the hag compendium. As you see, I've been busy, I haven't really slept. But what I figured it out was that some fiends and hags have the ability to shift between our plane of existence and the ethereal plane. That is a fact that they can do. Now, if we put 2 and 2 together, I don't know how, and I don't know why, or how to have stopped this, or what happened, but potentially these, apparently, might not work when the magic is being cast from the ethereal plane, rather than from the prime material. So, I think these prevent magic being cast in this plane, not in the ethereal. So, I think, well, obviously this has been done either by the hag or by the fiends. So, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm very flummoxed right now. I hate to say this. This could help our case because this, basically a key witness has died in prison. However,
hey, this can help us. Great.
However, we have no evidence, right? There is no way to know how he died. I mean, unless
if you consider the fact that he was healthy when he went into the cell,
Healthy?
there was nothing. Well, I mean, healthy as in not currently dying. Had reasonable understanding of making a recovery. I mean, I didn't kill him. It was just
You beat him near an inch of his life.
I mean, 4 inches of his life.
He only had 4 HP.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
And then he took 10 psychic damage and died in his sleep.
Yeah. And if the cells are, as you say, magic proof from the outside and the inside, that means that either something went inside and in fact affected him without being triggered by the cells, or something, as you said, not from this plane did it. Now, I don't know much about magic spells, but I do know that magic is a little bit fucky. So, being able to bypass a supposedly magic-proof cell isn't out of the question. So, what you should be asking is not what spell was cast, but if the cell is truly preventing all magic.
Right, okay. I'm going to request an inquiry into this, and because I have to put it through official channels, I cannot just do it myself and bring it over. But
by all means, find
Right.
out what enchantments are on the cells, and that will help you, answer any riddle that comes along.
okay, right. Well, first of all, I was in the middle of something, but had to quickly rush over here when I heard the news. But I need to tell you about the trial. I mean, it's still happening because the rest of you are alive and well, so you're still on trial even though one of you's dead. I don't know.
I feel like if another one of us dies, the opponent should lose by forfeit, honestly.
I wish that's how it worked. However, there's a lot of bureaucracy involved. If you recall, I'm just quickly going to explain to you what's going to happen in a few hours so that you know.
I jest because you are visibly stressed.
Hi, I'm always stressed. It's my job. That's why I look this old. Anyway, right. So, as you guys are going to be taken to the Grand Cathedral, because it's the only venue big enough to encapsulate everyone who's going to be in attendance, because this is a public trial.
Surprised he isn't saying anything about me.
No, he's kind of is talking to Ferverand and the rest of the group. You're catatonic behind him. He's assuming you hear it, but he doesn't know. So he's talking at you, Ferverand, and at Luba and Belloar and Trowel. He's saying, you guys will be escorted to the Grand Cathedral. And there is, as I said before, it is going to be overseen by the Archbishop Galatea herself, the head of Lordenborough. There's going to be a council of 3 members. One of them will be Bishop Sarah, who is the highest ranking clergy after Archbishop Galatea. There's going to be, I believe, Henry... what's it called? Yes. There is... Ooh, music stopped. 1 second. Yes, there's going to be... Why is it not working? Apologies. There's going to be Polkovnik Laughingsteel, who is the highest ranking member of the Garda in this city. And there's going to be the director of the academy, Thomas Darkdraft, as the 3 counselors.
I'm sorry, out of character. Drafts? Laughing Steel?
Yes. That's his last name.
Alright.
Dude, that's his last name. And he's basically looking at you guys and saying, those three are going to be on the council. They're going to have each a vote, an educated vote, as they say, to the final verdict. And there's going to be 15 members of the jury who are going to have a vote. Now, to be completely honest, the jury are the ones that we are capable of convincing, because the council, they make their own decisions. The jury will vote, and that vote will be given to the council, and it technically is supposed to count as a separate vote towards what's going on. However, it heavily affects what the council decides, because they want to please the people. They do not want to go completely against the jury. Most of the time, whatever the jury decides, the council agrees. And finally, even if the council is against and the jury is for, or, you know, they have differing opinions, the final person who makes the verdict is the divine the Archbishop Galatier. She is going to, as a neutral party, take both opinions into consideration and give the final verdict according to her judgment. That is how criminal courts are usually done, but they're not very common, so this is they're sort of, you know, doing it as they go along. Most of the time, civil courts don't get this big, and this is why this has attracted a really big crowd of people. Now,
we have one thing that might help, and I kind of like look at Saldana, and I put my like hand in front of her face to see if she's still sewn the fuck out.
She's still zoned the fuck out.
All right.
I did not even react to what you're doing.
You could get a not exactly recommendation letter, but proof of character from our superior. That would have a lot of sway.
He's looking at you for a rand, looking at Belloir and Trarel and Luba, looking back at you with the look of like, you gonna out me right now? Doesn't say it, but like, dude. And he says, the reason I'm here is because this is as much help as they can provide without arousing suspicion in the people we're trying to catch.
Fair enough. I can at least vouch for these two. That
yes,
not...
if they, you must understand, if that person gets involved anymore, as they say, we'll ruffle the nest too much. At the moment, clearly they are underestimating us, which is why they're allowing this trial to happen. And you know, but to be fair, there might not be any points at like empty cell where Baax was. They might be going full out with this, considering that we might have cornered them. But I would not count on it. This is supposed to be, I'm as much help as can arrive, really. Right. I'm going to have to take a few hours to rewrite our things, and as well, you know, I had a few questions to Baax that now I cannot ask. Right. I'm going to...
Well, you can ask Belloir. He seems to be about as knowledgeable about his life as his own mother.
Yes, my condolences, actually. And Belloir has just been quiet, as well as Trial. They've just been, like, kind of out of it as well. And at this point, Belloir perks up and goes, right, well, fuck.
Were you listening, Belloir?
I was, yes.
What did I just say?
Sorry, you were having a conversation about the, maybe asking your superior to give you a letter of recommendation of character, and you've been talking that will not be an option. Damn it.
Yes, I have been talking about asking my superior. I was seeing if you paid attention. I did it like, I would say 70% of a good job. You are on a case, remember that.
Yes, I just still can't believe he's dead.
Which cult was Baax in?
What? And he looks up at you, and Trial is just not doing anything. Luba's also very, very shocked. And at this point, Belloir, like, just puts his hand in his face in his hands, like, this was not supposed to happen like this. This was not... How... What? I don't... Fuck. And Trial, again, they're all just really, really fucking shocked, okay?
I'm fucking banking on it. They're not paying any fucking attention to what I'm saying.
No, but they don't seem to be replying. He just said, what? And then came back to his astonishment. At this point, Alanan, like, you can see, black bags under his eyes. He has not slept. He looks at you and says, right, something you need to know. The house that you were mentioning, that you went in to fight off the strange cultists, where Trowel was being locked in, and there was a bunch of maggots and all that kind of nasty things. I've found the location you've mentioned, and the house is just, it's empty. There's nothing there. There's no furniture. There's nothing. It's just it's set for demolition.
What do you expect? We raided the place.
Yes, no, I believe they've cleaned up all evidence, if there was any to be left. So unfortunately, that's a dead end. Did not find any of the mirrors or anything really as an evidence. Unfortunately, it's all just a testimony at this point. I'm sorry. I was about to go check out the orphanage as well. However, I got these news, and so I had to rush back.
Checking out the orphanage is not going to do any good. It's a hag's lair. They are prepared for any investigation you might throw their way. And even if in the rare chance that you do discover something, they're more likely to kill you than anything.
That's true.
I would say, in that particular area, drop it. What you should focus on is what we've given you so far.
I understand. Right. I will see you before the trial. We will have a little bit of time. I will tell you the order in which you're supposed to go. And if you have any questions you want me to ask you, sort of like a leading question to then give your testimony or to improve on your testimony, feel free to tell them to me right before you go up to the stand. There will be a chance...
You're the lawyer. You're the professional.
That's true.
I
However,
trust your judgment.
However, as I said before, I've had very little time to prepare this case, and you've actually been there. So if you have any wistful ideas, I'm happy to take anything on board.
Honestly, if you have any form of magic that compels truth out of a person, then it's very easy to make my point.
To be fair, that magic is... the Archbishop is capable of such magic, and so is the Bishop Sarah, and a lot of the Paladins. However, I'm not sure if it's going to be used in this trial. It might be. We will see. Again, as I said before, this level of criminal trial has not been done in this city or in the Empire very often. So, right.
I would argue that if you throw me in last, I mean, if you throw the others in, they're probably going to stumble their words and probably make the case a whole lot worse. I mean, just look at their condition right now. It's like I've never seen a dead person before. Now, if you put me in last, at least I can make a solid point to end it on.
Okay.
And just for argument's sake, let's say that there are magical items such as, and I show my ring, and that can prevent you from, well, being discovered as a liar or something of the sort. I would argue that I'll make a big show out of revealing it in front of everyone, putting it in front of me so that I'm not wearing it, have someone cast detective magic on me to prove that I'm not wearing any other magical artifact, and then have truth cast on me.
That is actually a good idea, because in case... Like, this whole... From looking at the testimonies, from what I understand, the problem where Luba got confused, or, Private Wheatflow... Corporal Wheatflow got confused was because the first time she's managed to cast her paladin ability to detect fiends and undead and sort of fey creatures, she managed to identify a fiend. However, when she cast it once more, that identification stopped. Now, there's very few items or magic that could prevent that, and if that is correct, you doing this could give me an excuse to attempt to apply this to all the other people who are being interviewed.
That is the idea.
Good. Then maybe... I'm not sure in what order they're going to be. I think they're going to...
They're going to probably make a sob-story case. That's why I want everybody else to go first, because once we pull this trigger, it's hard for them to backtrack.
Right.
Especially if you have them investigated immediately afterwards.
Okay. So for those of you, just gonna say this out now for mechanics' sake, so you all know what's gonna happen is you guys are gonna be taken in.
Yep.
It's gonna be the prosecution reading out the accusations. Then the witness for the prosecution. First of all, the accused are going to have a chance to say plead guilty or not guilty. As a whole and as individuals. And then the accused are going to be taken forward to the stand, their testimony listened to, and then cross-examined by both the prosecution and the defense. After you all have gone, the prosecution will bring in witnesses for the prosecution. The prosecution will bring in the accuser, which is the person who's complaining, basically, the victim. And then after the people involved in the trial are going to be talked to, the witnesses are going to come on both sides. So first the prosecution, then the defense. And after everybody's been talked to, the prosecution and the defense will have the final say, and then the jury will decide. So basically, you go first in talking about the situation, then the prosecutors, then basically the head of the orphanage is going to speak. Then it's going to be the witnesses for the prosecution, and then the witnesses for the defense. Okay? Cool.
Okay.
You guys, he leaves you guys for a bit to prepare his case, and you are left alone with your thoughts. Sildana, at some point, you, come back to this weird unreality of just sobbing. And as you look to the left outside of your cell, you see Luba just on the floor crying into her hands. And Trowel sitting there very traumatized in another corner. And Belloir just pacing and looking extremely nervous. While Fervent, I don't know what Fervent's doing.
I don't have anyone to stare at this time, unless they finally became competent and have a person watching all of us at the same time.
No, they brought in 5 people to watch you at this point.
Okay.
There's
So
a whole
my
small
instinct
garrison.
worked. Okay. At this point, I'm just gonna sit with my head laying down, so it's hard to tell if I'm actually asleep or if I'm just waiting. And I'm gonna use the time to kind of zone out and try and just converse with my shadow self.
Okay, give me a stealth check to try to do this in broad daylight.
Am I getting daylight? We're in a basement.
You are in basement, but you have guards watching you like hawks, and you're trying to do this stealthily, but still roll me a stealth check.
14.
You're trying to make it look like you're not doing anything kind of weird.
14.
I'm really just sitting down and I'm looking down on the ground
Okay, 14. You end up with you manage to your shadow buddy comes up and you've done some sign language with your shadow buddy. You manage to do weird hand gestures that one of the guards manages to see, but they don't know what they mean.
Oh, yeah, sure, that works. I wasn't trying to physically conjure him. I was trying to mentally connect with him.
No, but as you mentally connect with him, he pops up just the head, and because it's shadowy, he's not seen apart from by you. But you have taught him sign language. I believe you spent some time doing that because he doesn't have a mouth to speak to you. So you can give basic commands and have basic conversations, but it's not you cannot have a very complicated full conversation with him. So what are you trying to talk to him about?
Well, since we can't have a deep conversation, I ask him if they're ready. I ask them if they're afraid. And I ask them if they're prepared to kick ass.
So the first one, if they're ready, you see a very strong nod and a little hand gesture that says always. For if they're scared, you see a shake of the head and basically an exaggeration that says never. And then the last one, if you're ready to kick ass, always comes back again. Very strong responses.
Then I only have one final question. Do you have my back?
Also, which is weird, because you know magic cannot be cast in these, but the shadow body appears just fine. Just the thing, so you know. Did you ask if they've got your back? And then this thing, like, the shadow body, like, struggles to explain, because it appears to be a complicated concept. But what you get from it is, you get yes, then you also get, like, he points at you and points at him, and then draws, like, a circle that I think he meant to tell you, like, full, complete, and whole, but you're not, like, it's a word that you taught him that means something different, but he's basically trying to point at you, at him, and then draw a circle, and then reiterate yes again.
I give him like a fist bump.
You get a tiny shadowy fist bump, and then as the guard passes by,
boy.
he disappears into a shadow.
Tiny shadowy fist bump, like a baby hand, just like.
No, a fist bump, but like a quiet fist bump, and then immediately as the guard passes by, he just disappears. Unless you guys, hold up. Oh, there we go. Just double checking something. Unless you guys want to do anything else, you are taken. The guards escort you. They're all harrowed, but they escort you and they check on you, see that you're fine, see that you're healthy. And bring it over to this location. For those of you who don't know, there is the very big cathedral in the center of Laudenborough, which is called the Church of the Holy Lady. And it is a very big
original
place.
Names.
Yes, it's very, very big. It allows for a location to fit everybody in. This is where the Sunday Mass happens, and so it's like the biggest venue in the city. There is already a crowd of people waiting for you, just onlookers, people who are just wanting to attend the trial. Because while
When did I get back?
Sorry?
When did I come back? Like, from
as I said, you came back after 4 hours, so after somewhere in between people pacing, you completely missed the fact that your son was here. You weren't there, but you do remember Baax dying. You don't know what happened. You're just walking a bit in a daze, but you are yourself again.
It kept feeling like he was looking you right in the eyes every time.
He didn't even try to figure out if there was something wrong with me. What the hell?
I mean, he was all flummoxed. He needed to deliver a message, and then he fucked off to deal with the rest of the case.
Yeah, I know.
He's one man doing a job of a lot of people. All right, then. You guys go.
We're on our way to trial.
You are in the trial. You see beautiful indoors. You've been to this cathedral before. It is still amazing acoustics, but now instead of the pews where people would listen to the sermon, the pews are sort of set to the sides in like a tiered position. So like, you know, like you're watching, you know, when you're watching like a football match or something, they have the seating in like a tiered way. Similar to that, there is a stand in the middle, which is usually used for preaching, or like for the main singer to start the psalm, is rotated in a way as like a witness / accuser stand. And at the back of the cathedral, where usually the church filigree and the statue of the lady is a big table with 3 people and another elevated big chair where a woman is sitting. You've never seen her before, none of you, because she doesn't usually make an appearance apart from a Sunday Mass, but this is the Archbishop Galatea. I'm just gonna send you a picture of what she looks like. She is a beautiful, dark-skinned woman with red hair, and she is, like a lot of the other priests, she's wearing a veil, and her hair is very long. It's almost nearing her knees. And you know that in the religion of the lady, archbishops and above, which is almost the highest position apart from the Holy Lady, choose not to cut their hair and to leave them always unpinned. While anybody lower than the archbishop, like bishops and enlightened, they don't need to adhere to these rules. And archbishops are always women, to honor the divine lady. Right, where is she? Sorry, I'm just trying to find her here. There we go. That's what she looks like. A beautiful sort of human woman with a very kind but very knowledgeable face. and gray eyes, you know, very, very, very solemn looking. She's already sitting down on that big throne. The three people, you've met Sarah, who is the bishop, who you've been talking to before, about, you know, seeing the hag, etc., etc. This is what he looks like. And he's currently turning around away from all the crowd that's filing into the pews and talking to the archbishop, who is nodding and looking down at him. You can't hear what they're saying because they're sitting right, like, you know, very far from where you guys are coming in, but they seem to know each other very well. In the middle sits a man with these long flowing hair, beautiful, like, ornate armor, and the way he's sitting, he doesn't seem like he wants to be here. It seems like he is just here for, like he's literally sitting like this and looking at everybody coming in, and you can see him yawn as
that is
as,
a
like,
handsome man.
yeah, you see
Ben
him.
never turns his neck; he turns his torso.
Yeah, you see him. You see him yawn as the rest of the people come in, and maybe perk up a bit when he sees the guards and you guys come in. And then as he counts you, he kind of goes, like, immediately dismisses and goes back to being bored.
Still unbound.
Still unbound. And the third person,
the only one not tied up.
and the third person that you see is somebody that Baax knows, but, you know, he's dead.
Baax is dead. Who cares?
This is Thomas Darkdraft. He is the head of the academy, and he's this, like, pale, red-headed human with very bright aquamarine eyes, and his beard has this little, like, flecks of blue that keeps, like bioluminescent blue. You're not sure if it's a powder or a magical effect, but he's wearing the blue robes of a wizard, and he's sitting there solemnly and looking over everybody, seeming to really pay attention to the case and what's going on. As you guys all line up next to the pews and people, you know, stop filing in, the guard are stopping a lot of people from coming in because the place is at capacity now. And a lot of, you know, public are complaining because they don't get to see the one criminal case they've ever seen. But the guards are like, no, you can't come in. That's it. We have too many people here already. And, you know, they leave the doors open so people on the street can sort of look in and see what's going on. You've garnered quite a bit of attention. As everybody sets their seats, you notice the jury stands where you guys recognize a few people. You recognize Atan, who looks at you guys and seems to be genuinely surprised to see you. If you remember who Atan is, he is the cook from the inn where you guys were staying. He's at first, like, squints to look at you, and then, like, gets confused and, like, looks around and, like, sits back, pretending to not have recognized you because that's a conflict of interest. He just was not aware he knew you guys. Or, like, they weren't aware that this is related to the guy. And you notice, like, there's some other people in this group who seem to be, honestly, like, different kind of craftsmen, or, like, one of them looks like he has a hard hat, that, you know, a dwarf with a hard hat who's, like, all covered in soot. Like, they seem to be, like, regular people, like, workers from the city who have come to view this case independently and then try to decide on a verdict according to the evidence presented. You notice people hush down, and Jaxar Lothier come up as the prosecutor, and he looks at you guys, looks at the archbishop, nods and says, "Dear members of the jury," sorry, that's not his voice. "Dear members of the jury, the honorable council, and the archbishop, my name is Jaxar Lothier. I will be the prosecution for today's case. In the case against Dame Matilda Commonbrooks, the owner and the director of the orphanage, versus these individuals on the charges of attempted manslaughter, destruction of property, and abuse towards children." Now, and, you know, he carries on. I'm not going to go the full court proceedings because this is fucking dull. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the mechanics of this. Each of you will have a chance to give a quick a few sentences to speak in your defense. And what you guys have to do is you have to convince the jury. At the moment, the jury is at a solid 10. The DC's 10. They're not for or against you. Every time you succeed, or the prosecution succeeds a persuasion roll, the DC will increase for you and decrease for the prosecution. Do you know what I mean? By 2. If you critically succeed, the DC increases or decreases by 5. So by the end of the trial, depending on how high or where the numbers are going to be, the jury will decide. So that's the background mechanics of this, okay? So your idea is you have to be as persuasive as you can to defend your case. Okay, so the first person to be called is the prosecution's, well, the prosecutor, which is the Matilda Koppenbergs, the woman that you guys suspect of being a hag and pretty certain of being a hag. However, she is the one who is apparently the victim in this trial for now. And as she walks up to the stand, she is holding...
Stab her while she least expects it.
she's walking up and she's like, you can see the bruising on her face from all the punches and stabs is like hasn't healed. And as she's walking towards, you can see the crowd go, and like people going, oh my god, that's horrible.
Falsifying evidence. She had a long rest.
It cannot be true. She rested for 8 hours.
She rested for 8 hours. She has no wounds.
As she's coming forward, she's visibly like limping. For Rand, you can tell she's pretend limping, but obviously she's like acting up on the injury. And as she comes up to the stand, a lot of the jury like already are whispering to each other, and you know people are talking. She looks over at the Archbishop and then she nods, and then the Archbishop stands up and talks to the lot of you, and she says, "Dear members of the jury, as the Archbishop overseeing this trial, as per the laws of our country, there is going to be a zone of truth cast upon anyone testifying at the pew." And then she like flicks her hand, and you notice a transparent golden dome come up over the area where the stand is only. So not all the pews and everything, but just the person speaking, right? And she goes, "Now, we can be sure that truth shall be spoken within these holy walls. However, if you, through some means, manage to lie, know that the Divine Lady will see you. You may speak." And sits down. Everybody claps, and she like tones everybody down. The testimony is given by Matilda in a very pleading tone. She is basically saying what happened, that she has been sitting in her office writing letters, and the children were inside the house when at some point she heard one of her younger children running up to her office and telling her that strange people have broken into the orphanage, and they were armed and scary. She immediately rushed down to the children's defense and was stopped by some sort of unholy magic on the stairs, unable to move. She has been isolated into the upper floor and repeatedly beaten and stabbed. And then once she finally managed to shake off the magical effect, her main goal was to protect the children from these invaders. And these invaders thankfully seem to target only herself, but she has heard that one of her poor boys is still in heavy condition, who has been sliced up by one of the members here. She is very
Objection.
good. Yeah, she's very good at do you say objection?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, as she's giving
I'm noticing the inconsistencies in her statement already.
Yeah, as she's saying these, I mean, I could say it from her point of view, but I think it's just faster if I mention what she says, because again, we don't want to be here all day. I feel like this trial might actually overrun to the next session.
I don't know if we're gonna run this actual Phoenix Wright or anything.
No, I don't. I think it'll be
Objection!
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Objection!
That would be too much, both for me, because my brain, I got ADHD, I tend to forget things, so it's my...
It would be so easy to forget everything.
And that's why I cannot hold a full-on conversations, and I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to do it this way. I think it's easier for everyone. Sorry, you were going to say something?
The little rat that I am, I have immediately gone like several points against her.
Well, good. Remember these points because you can tell them. And as she nods, she mentions a few more things in a very pleading tone, saying that the child is still in critical condition and the younger children are still scared. Some of the children will come to give testimony later, but because of their young, minds and traumatic events, she urges the court to not bully them too much with questions. They are very young and very scared, and this was a very harsh ordeal. She says that she's thankful that no one has died. None of the children have been deceased from this. However, it was attempted manslaughter of herself, and there has been abuse to children happening. So she urges the court to make make a fair decision. That's what she exactly says. And she's going to attempt a persuasion roll. That the crowd is currently at a 10. However, because of her appearance and her really acting up the victim, and because this is before any of you have given testimonies, she has advantage on this one. I'm going to roll and see what she gets. Okay, let me just grab her. Oh, where is she? Okay. Persuasion check with advantage. Give me. Very, very good. She has succeeded the DC. The crowd seemed to believe her from this initial testimony. She seems to be very believable.
Amber Heard it.
Yeah, she's trying to Amber Heard it. She's very believable, and not like a fake believable. She's truly believable. So now the DC is up to 12. I'm going to write down. It wasn't a critical success, but it was a success nonetheless. Oh, hello. Sorry. Pen. And the music stopped. Right. DC is now 12. Just gonna write this down. So as she nods, she goes back to a seat next to, you notice, the pretty boy from the orphanage, the one that opened the door, and a few select other children. You notice the small dwarf girl and her brother, who's still sporting a black eye. A few other kids who were awake, obviously not the babies, but the roster of the children from the orphanage is there, including her, and a few other people that you notice. The Viscount, like a person that is familiar to you for a round. I think you've met him before, and a bunch of the Garda who were guarding you, and who were on the site. And a few other people sitting like very close to the stands, basically meaning they're witnesses for something. Seems that the prosecution has prepared quite a few witnesses. Then the Alanan stands up and nods and bows to the prosecution, says, "I am Alanan Malkuth, the barrister for the defense. I am going to present the case and defend these accused members. And we are pleading not guilty." And everybody goes, like sort of whispering. It's like, "For several reasons that shall be listed in a moment." And he points forward and he chooses, let's see who goes first. He chooses, who would be the best person in this case?
Baax clearly would be the best witness right now.
I would
My first
say...
witness, the corpse.
No, he would bring forward Duke Faladel first, because he wants to get the oomph effect, So first, Duke Faladel comes over, and everybody starts whispering, like, "Oh, we know this man, oh my god." And Alanan Malkuth...
that guy once.
Yeah, they turn around and he noticed, like, "I present to you the first accused, Duke Beloar Falanel." And Beloar nods and bows and waves to a few people. And at this point, Thomas Darkdraft, like, frowns, like, "What the fuck is this person doing here?" And he waves at the rest of the crowd and turns around like, "Dear members of the jury." And he's within the zone of truth. Let's see if he succeeds or fails. I believe...
Wouldn't you want to willingly fail in this?
You can willingly fail, but yeah,
Well,
let me just try it.
Could be a very bad thing for him if he did fail, because though you are compelled to tell the truth, you might accidentally say the wrong truth.
Mm-hmm.
Though, to be fair, nothing compels you to speak. You just can't lie.
Charisma saving throw. Hold on. Gotta find the DC for this one. For the Archbishop. Oh shit, okay, that's a high DC. He's gonna attempt it, and, because as you walk into the zone of truth. And you can see the Archbishop keeps, once in a while casting, because the spell doesn't last too long, so she keeps, recasting this spell. And it seems to be quite an easy thing for her to do. Seems to be quite a high-level cleric. Alright,
Well, high-level cleric, does that mean Baax gets resurrected?
We'll see about this. Who knows?
Now, we're going to bring in our next witness.
Shit.
Who was dead.
Who is actually dead now. Righty, so let me bring up Belloir. There we go. His charisma saving throw. I'm gonna make it normal without advantage.
Damn.
Okay, as he stands there, he nods at the crowd and says, "Dear members of the court, I understand the distraught nature of the woman you have heard previously. However, I must assure you that there's been not just a huge misunderstanding, but you've all...
This bitch is full of shit.
Yes, you've all been simply bamboozled. I mean, honestly, this display," and he points at her, it's acting it up much, don't you think? Now, I want to say from my point of view what has happened that night. And what he mentions is, he says that he and the group have been, his son has been kidnapped prior to this event, and he has asked the help of these members of the group to help retrieve him from his kidnappers, which you have. And upon saving him, you've realized that there is a group of individuals in the city who kidnap people, who sort of do some sort of nefarious means that you haven't elucidated the exact details of which. However, his son has been one of the victims, and I've decided to take justice into my own hands, because as we all know, the Garda has been severely understaffed in this city. And everybody goes, ooh.
Does he not mention the summoning of the orphanage assistant to his house turning into a fucking devil and ash after being killed?
He's getting to that. He's only starting up with why they're doing all of this. And everybody goes, ooh, and Thomas Darkdraft, who is Henry, the Polkovnik Laughingsteel, is just sitting there, and as he says Garda has been understaffed, he literally just yawns. And Sarah is just looking at him what are you doing, man? Don't can you pay attention? And he carries on saying that upon this effect, they've gotten a visitor, enlightened Malkin Rittingham, who has been known to associate with the matron. And the fact is that she's well known to be associated with her, and she came to meet his wife. And you notice that Teriani is also sitting in the pews, looking a little bit confused. And upon entering the house, she has cast some sort of a mind control spell onto one of the members of the group, and a battle has ensued, and they've managed to vanquish the beast, who has then turned to ash. And he produces a small pile of ash that the devil turned into, and passes it on to Alanan, who nods and brings it over to the evidence stand. He nods over at the rest of them, saying, upon this, we have decided that this woman was a danger to society. She has targeted us more than once. We must vanquish her. We entered the house, and he says, from my point of view, I stood outside to make sure that she does not escape and does not, doesn't call upon some sort of an unholy thing. Thus, I cannot, to my best knowledge, tell you what exactly transpired inside. However, when I did come back in, that was along, right before all the Garda. And he points at some of the Gardas, they will testify to the fact that I have tried to bring them in and to apprehend the criminal. And my goal wasn't to mindlessly murder everybody in the house, but to apprehend the person responsible. And some of the Garda nod, because that is what has happened. He's been outside most of the time. And, yes, during this conversation, Alanan, stops him once in a while and clarifies some details of his, leading questions, as they say. So he does give him advantage, and they have talked about this particular testimony. While Belloir seems to be a little bit, pale and drawn, and, he just seen a kid he'd almost raised die. However, he seems to know what he's doing, and he's gonna do a persuasion check with advantage because Alanan is giving it to him. And there is evidence that's being produced. So, DC is 12. Ooh, it's good that he had advantage. And he beats it. And the crowd, it suddenly just goes like, oh, like, this is kind of making sense. And also, he's a duke, he wouldn't lie. Like, everybody sort of start talking with each other. And
I believe him. I've slept with him before. He's a sensual lover.
oh god. But yes, it seems to be going so far before it's gotten to you. It's gotten back to DC 10 because again, she convinced them, but it came back now. So to convince the jury of your innocence, it is now DC 10. Belloar nods. Alanan nods towards him and thanks the jury. You know, it's all the procedural bullshit. He goes back. And at this point, let's see who he calls at this point. For this is Alanan's choice of like who for the biggest effect he's gonna call. Yeah, he's gonna go Trowel now. Trowel comes up to the stand and he at first is like just like following orders, like he's been told to walk and he walks. He seems to be more shook than Belloar about this whole effect of, you know, Baax dying. And he's going to do a wisdom save. A charisma saving throw for the Zone of Truth. Where is he? Where's my boy?
He cries on stand. Everybody's sympathetic now.
Yeah.
Wah.
Ooh. He actually... Okay, he fails. So he's gonna have to say the truth. While Belloar could, as you noticed, embellish some of the details, and you have noticed when you were talking to him, Belloar has been not exactly 100% truthful about the whole thing. However, he managed to make it sound truthful enough, and you have a feeling he passed the Zone of Truth check. Trowel sort of looks up at the crowd and is about to talk, and then just holds it together and tries not to cry. Alanan comes up to the stand and places his hand on Charles and looks at him and says, "It is all right, you can tell them. Dear members of the jury, this testimony is going to be a little bit different. This is going to take us a little bit before the events at the orphanage, pertaining more to the kidnapping, if the Archbishop will allow it." The Archbishop sits there, nods, and says, "It is pertaining to the case as per Lord Falanel's testimony, so you may speak about it as well." And, you know, they all nod. And Trowel nods and recounts how there was another disappearances and you guys he mentions the whole situation with the water hag, how one of his classmates, well, not one of his classmates, one of the girls in the school was missing, and Baax have figured it out by talking to the blacksmith, and it is a God's honest truth of what he knows. So he's not hiding anything, but he's careful with what he's saying. He mentions that you have went to the authorities to speak about the hag and that you found her in the river, and the authorities said that they're going to file a report. However, he was at a library at the time, and when you guys left, he hasn't heard from you in a few hours, and he went to the last place you've been seen, which is the precinct. And then he spoke to the dwarf who was on duty at the time, and all of the Garda like turn around and nod and say like, yeah, no, there was a guy like this at the duty at the time. Was a Sergeant Wyvern Slayer. And he mentions that the sergeant said he's going to show him to the waiting area so that they can sort it out. And at that point, last thing he remembers is being knocked out and waking up in a basement full of mirrors. And his testimony of that is honestly like the worst thing you guys have ever seen. He describes in very vivid detail how through, like, he didn't know what time it was. He knows he only spent about 12 hours in there, but that contraption where he was stuck has ripped his soul, not fully out of his body, but piece by piece, and trapped it in a separate nightmare of his worst fears in these mirrors. And the worst thing is he could not properly fall asleep because, every time he looked up in darkness, he could see the mirrors reflecting him. And, like, it's, in a way, a very heartfelt, honest recollection. And as you notice, his mother is full on crying in the stands. His father's holding him together. A lot of people in the crowd are just like sitting there with a horrified expression. And it's not something a person who would be lying can say. It's obvious he doesn't want to say all of these details, but the zone of truth is compelling him. And after he's finished, he looks up at the Archbishop and at Alanan, who nods as well, and he goes, "If you would be amenable to it, oh, Venerable One, if you would like to make a test of my soul's completeness as proof of this, because, to be fair, while the pieces of my soul have been retrieved and placed back, they have not knitted together to my knowledge." And everybody goes, kind of sighing, and even Belloar, looks up and, just they're all looking very concerned. The Archbishop nods very, with a face of understanding, and him looking at her "I shall do that." She stands up, comes up to him, places a hand on his shoulder. Everybody's sort of staring, and there is this warm glow coming off from her hand. And as she opens her eyes, she looks at him and says, "This is correct. His soul, while is all in his body, is in pieces. My dear child, how are you alive right now? You must be in terrible pain." Sorry?
In the prosecution's defense, how the hell do they see souls? And if they do see souls, how can't they just look at the prosecution and be like, "Oh, that's a corrupt soul"?
It's not necessarily... What do you mean by seeing souls?
Well, I mean, if they look at him and see his souls as in pieces, in quotes, then they should also be able to look at anyone else and be like, "That's not a soul," or "That's a corrupted soul," or whatever.
It's not like a normal human soul.
I'll explain in a second. So as she pulls her hands away and she steps back, she mentions, "To those of you who need to understand what I am saying right now, most of the time, we, as clerics, as members of the church, blessed by the Holy Lady, we are capable of seeing if a person's inside soul or being is healthy and whole. While we cannot distinguish one soul from another, we cannot say whether a soul is a child, a woman, because souls do not matter. They are incorporeal. What we can see is if it is whole or if it is not, because there is a certain amount of divine energy radiating from each one of you. Each one of you has a soul blessed by the Lady, and each one of you has that essence of her life and love inside you. And when that essence...
Looking at me.
It's that essence is what we sense. And when that essence is fragmented, it is not right. My child, after this trial, whatever happens, I promise you, we will do what we can to put it back together again. I am so sorry." And Trial nods and she steps back and sits down. The audience is going full on
Yeah, this is pretty fucking damning evidence.
Of course, the prosecution sort of nods and everybody's seeming calm. He did mention that he only has been interacting with that one person in the Garda. He does not recall how he got there. The only other person he's seen was a red-haired woman that he thinks that was Malkin Rittingham. But that is it. He does not recall how he got there. He remembers you guys saving him. But apart from that, he starts mentioning how Malkin came to the house, corroborating with Belloar's testimony, and how, they've put two and two together and realized because of her association with the matron, they must be in cahoots together. And then he nods and sits back down. At this point, I'm gonna give him a persuasion check with advantage, because this has been extremely, severely damning evidence. And it's something he's discussed. It looks like he's discussed this with Aladan during his interviews, when you guys were talking. And so, Okay, persuasion.
I'm waiting for Alanan to quite literally throw the book at him.
Ooh, damn. Okay. So that is... How much did he get? Oh, yeah, no, he succeeds. Not critically, but he succeeds. DC goes down to 8 to convince them. The jury so far is looking at your side, man. At this point, they call... I think the best person to call would be Sylfania, actually.
Should the prosecution get to, like, cross-examine?
I think the way it's gonna work is Alanan gets the chance to examine the person first, and then you guys will come back.
I wonder if people are gonna like start putting like 2 and 2 together since our last names are the same.
Yes, as well, he mentions so far they seem to not care about it. As he says, they bring you to the stand. You may either in character or like I just said, tell me your testimony and what exactly you mention when you're asked to present your case. Because the way this works, you present your case and then you get cross-examined and called to the stand to be cross-examined.
Then you just walk up to the stand. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I proclaim myself clinically insane.
Is that what you want me to do?
It'd be funny.
It'd be funny. I think I just went crazy, you know?
I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I don't know. I think I need to go to the hospital or something. My
Go
brain
on,
ain't working
Sylfania.
properly.
You're currently standing, and Alanan looks at you, nods, and says, "You may present your point of view of the events."
Go on, buddy. Speak the truth.
She is
just the truth.
Actually,
very nervous because she does not feel prepared for this.
before you say, are you resisting the zone of truth?
No.
Okay, you're acquiescing to the zone of truth. Sylfania, you also are now aware that your previous confidence with, oh, we're the baddies, we did the bad thing, is now gone, and your mind is clear, and you realize you might have been controlled, like you all been feared. You just don't remember when.
Zone of Truth just does that.
No, not Zone of Truth. Even before, when you were in jail, the nights before, you realized, oh shit, I've been mind controlled. I'm not 100% certain about what's going on. I don't know the exact moment where I've been mind controlled during that whole fight, but I definitely have been because it's gone now.
Alright, so exactly what portion of the events do they want me to tell here?
Basically everything pertaining to why you've entered the orphanage and
why I entered the orphanage,
and
why did I attack this woman?
Yes, and your point of view of the events. Like your testimony.
So, fuck it. I guess I'm just gonna tell the truth then.
So, from which point on do you say the truth? From the point where Malcolm came to your house and you guys decided, fuck it, we're gonna have to fight this hag? Or from the very, very beginning, how you came to the city as
I am going to tell it from the very beginning. The moment I entered this city.
It all started when I entered the scouting part of the military.
It takes a while. People are all listening to you because you're under the zone of truth. You mention you trying to go to the police and all of that things, and it's so far correlating with Trarrell. I assume you go into as much detail as you can, and everybody like oohs and ahs. Give me actually a performance check to keep the crowd with you because you're speaking for a very long time.
Yes.
Just give me a performance check.
I'm giving the old lady kind of performance right now. Like, well, I remember. Well, I wasn't sure if he said that.
Back in 1775, when I was a wee lad.
Some people are. There's definitely people that are asleep right now.
People are like the guarded guy of the jury is like full on snoring, and at this point Thomas elbows him and he goes, oh, she's still talking.
About to say, welcome to court. This is literally the most boring shit.
Yeah, a lot of the jury, you notice, are dozing at this point. Atan is the only one who's listening to all of this extremely carefully. while the rest of the jury is kind of like...
Is there a chronicler that's like taking all of this down?
Oh yes, no, there's a few clerks in the
I'm about
in
to
the
say, yeah,
booths
there's
all
somebody who's writing
all of
down
the
every
stuff.
single thing that's being said.
Indeed. The jury that you have to convince, though, they're all getting fucking bored. Yeah, indeed. But let's just say, because unfortunately your testimony is very long, it is corroborating with what the others say. However, not many of them hear the details, so I'm gonna ask you to give me a persuasion check with disadvantage, unfortunately.
Okie.
Think that
Yeah,
would
Well,
nobody
because
wants
they
to
couldn't
listen to
fucking
a
stay
woman
asleep.
rant.
That like they don't know court is gonna be fucking boring as shit.
Yep,
Oh, that was a nat 20 on one of them. Come on.
What's a disadvantage, though? What's the other one?
6.
My girl, the DC was 8. The crowd
Ooh.
is like listening, but they're like, you know, at this point, it was a very clear cut, down to the point testimonies before you. This one is dragging on. So people are just being like, nah, listen, something's off here. She's whiffing. She's going back on her words. She's forgetting. She's clearly nervous. No, it's like she's clearly nervous. Maybe she's hiding something. So you see the crowd is starting to lose the momentum that Travel gave with his very honest and very raw
I know,
testimony.
right?
You are sent back to your seat. You will be called again to be cross-examined at some point. And Luba comes up to the stand. And at this point, she is asked very crucially by the defense, being like, you are the reason why... You went to the orphanage at first to check it out. You didn't go in there to attack. And let's see if she willingly fails the zone of truth. I'd say Luba is that kind of girl. And she mentions that she has, as a paladin, the capability to sense fiends, undead, and everybody nods and like, yes, you do have that. And she mentions that she has sensed a fiend in the orphanage upon entering the door. And Alana at this point pauses and asks, whom did you mention that you've seen as a fiend? And she looks at him and then looks at the kids sitting next to Malkin and points at Lancian, who is this the pretty boy who opened the door for you. It says, that child had the same fiendish essence as Malkin Rittingham. And everybody goes, like, oh no, she accused a child. And says... then she says, this is the only reason I've even thought of going inside and starting any of this. I would never have hurt any of the children or any of the citizens of this empire if I wasn't 100% sure. However, it is true that upon the second try, I did not sense the fiendish presence from him. And everybody goes, ooh. She says, it was very, she basically mentions how confusing it was and how she immediately stopped any of her attacks once she realized that she might have been wrong. However, she doesn't know what's going on. This spell has never not worked for her before. And at this point, I'd say she's just going to do a straight roll, because while the testimony is damning, it's also like, but also not convincing. She is a paladin and a member of the Garda. So I'm going to give her a straight roll. Where is she, my gal? I'm trying to keep this as short as possible, but this is a trial, okay? It's hard.
Welcome to court.
Yes, court's long.
Just give me the stand, and I'll talk everyone's ear off and convince them that I'm amazing and beautiful.
Damn, boy. Okay, she manages by being like very serious and very honest, and like her eyes seem like she's been crying for a long time. She seems to convince the crowd pretty well, and they seem to be like now believing you guys again as to like this divine magic. It must have worked, but then something went wrong, and everybody's like whispering.
I was kind of expecting her to just start ugly crying and be like,
that you've disappeared. That mic didn't pick up any of that.
I basically did like toddler cry talking.
Yeah. As Luba finishes her testimony and sent back, Alanan looks over at you guys and says, there was another member of the accused who is not present today because he has unfortunately passed away in the holding cells of the Garda after coming willingly from the situation. Everybody goes, what? How did that happen? And says, It is still under investigation and will be questioned, as I will be asking one of the members of the Garda present there as witnesses to this. However, this does pertain to the case, Your Eminence. So instead, I shall be calling our last accused, Ferrand Dickens, to the stand. And it is your turn, Ferrand, to tell them. Decide from which point in the story you tell them and what exactly... First of all, do you willingly fail the Zone of Truth? Or do you wish to...
I have the ring on.
Oh, right, yeah, fuck it. Never mind.
Yeah. So, I stand and I go, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to point your attention to the incompetence of your local Garda. For one, you might have noticed that all of my fellow compatriots have had their hands bound, yet mine are not.
Despite the fact that I nearly beat the shit out of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting some oohs and ahs.
Well, okay, fine. Oohs and ahs, but like not very serious oohs and ahs, mostly because, as you say this,
I'm throwing shade.
There is throwing shade, but there is so many guard in here, so even if your hands are unbound, you basically will be overpowered immediately. But everybody's sort of like, interesting, very inconsistent.
Now, usually these sorts of procedures are done very quickly. However, the Garda here took a significantly long time just to find the paperwork for this case. So, if I were you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would not take their words at full value, as they seem to be not able to hold their own words at full value. Now, on to what you're expecting and hopefully not dreading. You want to know why we went in there and why we assailed what you think is just an innocent old woman. Now, to be fair, she does look injured and limping, but ask yourself this. If she did get as thoroughly beaten as she did describe to you before, how come she, a frail orphan director, is completely fine? That... Hang on, I'm gonna pause. My fucking music is throwing me off.
Yeah, so, sorry, I've zoned... What did you say? Did you say, like, is she... She's a frail old lady, so how come she's still alive after being beaten? Or what?
Yeah, I'm basically mentioning that she exaggerated her injuries, and I'm basically throwing that if she is as, like, mortal as she claims to be, how is she still, like, this fine?
As the group, as all of the jury look at Matilda Cobbenbrooks, she, with her amounts of, like, bruises and cuts and literal swollen face that appears real, people don't seem to believe you on that point, unfortunately, my guy. So, carry on speaking. But you notice that the effect of the crowd isn't what you expected it to be.
Yeah, and I go, and for my last point, you all believe that your holy ship here is maintaining absolute authority over these proceedings, yet, however, I can lie to you at my own leisure. I can say, for example, that the Archbishop is a male dwarf that has recently participated in a drinking contest, and you would have no way of discerning whether I'm telling the truth or not, because I reveal the ring and I take it off, have been lying, and I put it down.
At this point, everybody goes, and the Archbishop stands up and says, "What sort of sorcery is this?"
With the Archbishop?
Yes.
Yeah. I answer, well, I could explain that to you, but one, if I did, you would regret that I do so, and secondly, if I did, it would also put you and the jury in danger.
At this point, everybody is sort of clamoring around. The guard are standing up. The Archbishop is up and says, "Order! Order in the court!" Alanan is sort of like nodding, like, good that I called you at the end for the final effect. And she stops everyone and then turns around. "Everybody sit down."
To prove my sincerity to the jury and the Archbishop, I request that I and all other prosecutors and defendants be subjected to a magic detection to prove that none of us are wearing such concealing artifacts that could alter our statements with falsehood.
The Archbishop looks at you, looks at the rest of the crowd, looks down at Thomas Darkdraft, who's the head of the Magic Academy, and says, "That is a reasonable request. You could have done it in a much less dramatic fashion, but you are correct." And she looks, "Lord Darkdraft, would you mind doing the honors?" And the Academy director nods and stands up and says, "All right. Yeah, I shall subject everybody who comes up to the stand from now on to a simple detect magic spell. For those of you who are aware," and you know his droning voice of a professor, he kind of carries on, says, "It basically will detect any type of magical item. May I examine this ring?" He asks you as he comes up to the stand. He picks it up. You see his eyes are permanently glowing, same way Baax's were, except less with lights, more just a soft glow, as he looks it up and looks over the ring and says, "This indeed is the ring of mind shielding. It is a very rare item. I might ask how you would come into possession of this. However, it is not pertaining to this particular court. Now, for those of you who are unaware, this ring prevents the wearer from having their mind read, being affected by any sort of truth spells," and he points at the zone of truth, "as well as anybody determining their type of being." And he puts it down. "I believe this is satisfactory, Archbishop, for this particular case." And she nods and says, "If you may stay down there and check everyone who comes up to the stand from now on, I would appreciate it." He seems a bit peeved, but he goes, "Of course, Archbishop." And on that note, I think it's a good place to stop, because after this, what's going to happen is you are all, the witnesses are going to go first, and they're going to be examined, and then you will have the last chance to be cross-examined after the witnesses' testimonies. So basically, the idea of the court was to let you have your say as the accused and the accusers, right? Or the accusers and the accused. And then there are going to be witnesses of people independent who, their point of view on the situation. And then you get to speak again and being asked questions depending on what the witnesses says, for it to make more sense to be cross-examined then. And at the end, it'll be the verdict. And that, I thought, was going to happen all in this episode. However, Baax fucking died. So...
I feel like it was actually kind of out of a benefit, not gonna lie, to us that he died.
No, it was. But before we go, actually, Fervent, give me a persuasion check with advantage, please.
Yeah, boy.
I know that's fucked up to say, Mads, but it's kind of true.
18.
18, you beat the DC. The crowd seems to be so far in your favor.
I mean, I'd make that pretty fucking bold statement. I'm pretty fucking sure that, the moment I showcased the ring, everybody could hear.
Bam.
Is that the Ace Attorney music? Or?
Yeah.
Yes.
The evidence.
That's the turnaround thing.
But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't want to keep these too long because some of us have work tomorrow and etc. And it's already been here for 3 hours. Also, you don't want to have the court case to last for fucking forever. However, you guys joined at the very yes, Psyop, he's the one that passed away in his holding cell. There is going to be a lot more, legal mumbo jumbo, and I've tried to narrow it down. Otherwise, if I had to say the testimony of everybody, we would have been here all day. Because so far it's been already, I'd say, 3 hours just with your testimonies, you guys. The day is young. This court case might have to last for more than 1 day, depending on how many people come up and have a say in it. The crowd seems to be extremely entertained by everything that's going on. There is sound effects to every single statement.
I am a performer at heart.
Indeed. So far, you guys are doing well. We'll see what happens next. Hope you guys enjoyed. Apart from Mads.
Literally cursed your dice.
Nice shot, baby.
I'm clipping that later if it hasn't been clipped yet.
Do it.
That's
Honestly,
insane. That was insane.
Mads, you're muted. We can't hear you.
I'm not talking.
Okay.
Just
Ooh.
approves in silence.
Just approves in silence. But indeed, yeah, that was interesting. Okay, I don't know when the next session will be. We will see when we're available. It's definitely not going to be next Tuesday.
Pay
For sure.
attention to Sylvana's Discord channel, where the schedule gets updated for the next D&D.
Yeah,
Oh
Discord
my
and
god,
Twitter.
and she also has a Twitter
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh
a
my
YouTube.
I'm gonna post it everywhere I can to tell you when the next session's gonna be. But yeah, we'll see if these guys manage to finally sway the jury to their completely to their favor. That final willingness to open up a ring, and now actually you haven't finished your testimony, so because you're in the zone of truth, I need you now to give me a charisma saving throw. Whether you're gonna. Oh, you willingly fail. Okay. The fun part, which is going to be the cross-examination by the prosecution, is going to be interesting. Because now that you guys put all of your cards on the table, people are going to ask questions. Because no offense, but your group is kind of a little bit sus. Just going to say it.
Listen, we knew it was against us from the start.
There are going to be questions. And you notice there's a lot of witnesses in there that you're like... Who the fuck are these people? But they seem to be there for the prosecution. The witnesses you told Alanan to bring will be there as well. He managed to get them. And he gets a chance to cross-examine them as well. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you guys next time. For now, it's...
Bam, 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 bam.